Good evening, everybody. How are you? Is everything going? Oh, there. How's everybody? Ah, jeez. I'm gonna fix that. This? Yeah, okay, that'll do the... won't do the job. Hang on a minute. Sorry, guys. I gotta fiddle with this thing. Trying to get my other monitor to work properly because it messes with the resolution. It's effect. That'll do. It's good enough. It's not perfect, but it'll do. Anyway, good evening. Hi, everyone. Welcome. Welcome back. Welcome back to Mass Effect 2. Getting ready to pick up where we left off. We're going to be going to Tuchanka, as the thumbnail and the description indicated. We're going to do Grunt and Morden's loyalty missions. That'll be probably some of the best loyalty missions from a gameplay standpoint, and Morden's especially is fascinating from a philosophical standpoint. In addition to that, I have plenty of other things I'd love to talk about, and I'm going to. So, without much further ado, let's jump into it. In the news lately, in addition to all of the US politics nonsense, we also have a new encyclical from Pope Francis out this weekend that I have not had a chance to read just yet. I am going to do what I can to at least read most of it before Thursday, so I do want to address it. It's oh, hi, Morton. I do certainly want to address the encyclical.
The child, my son, we played tackle the Baron. He was good, fast, strong.
Well, of course he was. Any son of yours must be.
Then they went back to the female camp. It was so fast. I didn't get to talk with him.
Oh. Krogan, who actually had a kid. That's great.
You don't want anything I sell, human.
Sure. I want this. Heavy weapon ammo.
This might be useful.
Eh. This is kind of cool, but no. You're right. I do want that, though. Anyway. As I was saying, the,
Should I ask the female clan for right of parentage?
Why bother with all the politics? You know you've sired a son. That's enough.
But I could teach him to hunt, the best way to shoot a gun, to fight with honor and savagery.
You can do that next time they bring the children over.
It's not the same.
yeah.
I just wish, I don't know, things could be different. We could live together, us.
Alright, so we did the hijack
Give me
shooting
a
thing.
reason.
Alright, calm down. We did the hijack shooting thing. Let's do Grunt's mission first. And
See
we
that
can.
special they had on the extranet?
That crap rots your brain. You should be out hunting.
And then we can. So we talked to the shaman up
I'll
here.
tear you apart. You don't have the plates to try.
And then we'll do Grunts first. Like I was saying, though, I do want to talk about Fratelli the new encyclical from Pope Francis that came out this weekend. Like I said, I haven't had a chance to read it yet. I'd like to read as much of it as I can before Thursday, so I can actually address it in some depth. Although, of course, there is obviously some new controversies, as always, about economics. And about capital punishment, which seem to be the two things that always get discussed whenever Pope Francis says damn near anything. So, again, I'm gonna be talking about it. I'm probably going to have to wind up doing another whole hermeneutic of continuity thing. In fact, you know what I'll do? I will link my previous video from the last time there was a big controversy like this. I will link my last video that had something to do with this in the description of this stream afterwards, so you guys can take a look at that and see some at least what is going to characterize my thoughts on this once I'm able to have and collect some thoughts on it.
You go beyond yourself, Gatatog Uvank. The rights of Urdnot are dominant.
How do we know it will challenge him? He's unnatural. The beasts of the right could ignore him like a lump of plastic.
They know blood no matter the womb. Your barking does not help your case. I'll speak for myself. This is the tank bread. It is very lifelike. Smells correct as well. Your protests ring hollow, Uvank.
Let's be badasses about this because, Shepard is nothing if not culturally sensitive.
I don't care what this idiot says. Grunt has the right to be here.
There's some fire, and from an alien. Oh, the shame this heaps on those who whine like pups.
If this must stand on ritual, then I invoke a denial. My Krantz stands against him. He has no one.
My patience is tested, but Uvank invokes correctly. Grunt, who is your Krant? Your allies willing to kill and die on your behalf?
Will kill for Grunt. Yes.
Grunt will strengthen Clan Urdnot. Name our target and it will die.
Spoken well. Most aliens, and some Krogan, do not understand our ways. I believe this human does.
Aliens don't know strength. My followers are true Krogan. Everything about Grunt is a lie.
Ow.
You dare.
I like this human. She understands.
I withdraw my denial. This will be decided elsewhere.
Kylie says, the shady some
You have
Krogan.
provoked them. Reason enough for me to like you. They're your problem now.
Oh man, that was good. That was good. Yeah. So this is where the entire fandom basically gets off saying that Shepard is Grunt's adoptive mommy, and is doing the Krogan thing better than most Krogan.
Is that Krogan gonna be a problem?
He is forbidden to interfere, will he? During the rite of passage, you must be ready for anything, Shepard. From what you've shown me, you will not disappoint.
We've waited long enough. Tell us how this works.
Still your impatience, Shepard. For now, know that Grunt will be tested, and that you must adapt.
Alright, let's do it. Oh, yeah.
Do we need any special equipment?
To begin the rite, only the candidate and his Krant are required. You love battle, don't you, Shepard? The last gasp of a dying opponent. Bring your love of the fight to Grunt's trial, and he will succeed.
Kylie says Mama Shep. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I love the whole, I honestly see a couple of things. One, I love Grunt as Shepard's adopted son, basically. Because basically that's what happens here. That's more or less the relationship, which really gets continued in 3. They really pick this up, and that is the part of that relationship dynamic that I just love in 3. I don't like so much that Grunt kind of gets relegated to a few moments of absolute badassery, but mostly comedy. I don't know. He kind of gets sort of Flanderized in 3. Like all of his traits get sort of turned up to 11 to the point of absurdity in a lot of cases. But I really do like the way that their relationship is to it. That said, the whole Mama Shep is also the main reason I really like Shepard and Liara together. Is the whole post-war Asari child thing that is. Because I'm not spoiling my version of the game, it is heavily implied that at the end of 3, when Shepard either dies or doesn't, that Liara is pregnant with their child. It's heavily implied. It's not. I don't know if the devs have actually confirmed this, but it was very, very heavily. So yeah, if that is the case, then I like the idea of Shepard and Liara as actual parents with sorry child. Yeah, Kylie, yes. That is, of course, if they are, again, if they're together. Which we're not. We're not romancing Liara, we're romancing Caden, so that isn't the case, obviously. Caden is not pregnant at the end. Really weird. But no. Kylie, don't worry, he does get one absolute crowning moment of badass in Mass Effect 3. He gets plenty in 2, but he gets one that just tops it all. Yeah.
We're ready. Let's do this.
Excellent.
Oh, I have wonderful news. I don't know if you all know what season it is, because it has actually been decently nice out a little bit, at least some of the time. What that means. It's eggnog season, y'all. Yeah, eggnog season. I am thrilled. I'm absolutely thrilled with it being eggnog season. That's wonderful. Yeah, let's. Well, it's creepy. Well. No, let's not. Fire's useful. Actually, yeah, he has incinerate. Fire's useful. So yeah, let's go with Morden. Listen. It's in the store, Kylie. There's no time for spooping. It's eggnog time. You can have spooky eggnog. You can have spoopy eggnog. Hell, you can even probably have like pumpkin spice eggnog or something. I don't, but you probably could. Nothing wrong with that. Yeah, let's go, Morden. Why not? It's probably not the best idea, but it'll do. All right. Let's wait for fortification, and let's wait for neuroshock. Cool. Let's go with our M920 Cane. I want to read the description of this gun, because when you see it in action, I want you to be prepared for what is to come. Oh, Kylie says, okay, the only exception if you were, you wear a spoopy onesie drinking the eggnog. Well, I'm not doing that. I'm wearing my lizard shirt. And this is because Michael kind of threw up on my shirt. So, lizard it is. Ooh, geckos. Saoirse loves the shirt. It's got geckos on it. It fits bizarrely. It does not fit properly because it's stretched in places. But I basically use it for an around the house kind of shirt. It works. It does the job, and I love the wacky pattern. It's very dad. All right, so here we go. The effectiveness and efficiency of Mass Effect-based weapon technology has rendered large-scale deployment of heavy explosive weaponry all but obsolete in infantry weapons. So no literal nuke launchers. Normandy's scientists have prototyped a modified version of traditional high-explosive rounds. Remember those from the last game, when they were the ones that were loaded in the shotgun that knocked people across the room? Those things. That is applied to a 25-gram slug. When accelerated to 5 kilometers per second, the round is devastating. Though technically inaccurate, an inaccurate label, this prototype weapon is nicknamed the Nuke Launcher, as its high explosive matrix generates an archetypal mushroom cloud on impact, inflicts high damage with a large area of effect. Oh, hey, Kylie was apparently supposed to be born on Halloween. Cool. I always think about, how my I was, especially when Saoirse was born, she was 2 weeks late, almost to the dot, on the dot. So was I, so was Erica. So I figured that would kind of be a trend. And then suddenly Michael was born the day after his due date, so blew that out of the water. Still late, but like 24 hours late or something. 23 3/4 hours later, whatever. Still.
This is Tuchanka's most recent scar. The last surface city to fall in the rebellions. The Keystone was at the heart.
This place is
It has survived wars and the passage of centuries. It endures. Like the Krogan. If you wish to join Clan Erdnot, you must contemplate the Keystone and its trials.
What will happen?
Who knows? You must adapt. You must thrive no matter the situation. Any true Krogan will.
Alright. Let's arm up.
Let's get started, Shepard.
Change weapons.
Let's go with that. Now, should still have a shotgun. Smig. Alright, let's pick up all of our loot first. So we're not having to do that while fighting.
Let's get started, Shepard. Hit the keystone.
Ellie says I was early because my mom's doctor was going on vacation 6 days before I was supposed to be born. So they decided to have me born early. Alright, yeah. I mean, I get it. Legit.
Let's get started, Shepard. Hit the
Easy,
keystone.
Grunt. Chill. Chill. I'm bypassing circuits. Picking up junk. Yeah, I get that. We have because of stupid timing, we have yet to have our ordinary actual doctor.
Let's get started,
delivery.
Shepard. Hit the keystone.
Either time, because of course, our children cannot be predictable. They're incapable of being predictable. So, you know, what we're gonna do. Right.
Let's get started, Shepard. Hit
Chill,
the keystone.
Grunt, chill. I actually do I need medkits? I do. Credits.
Let's get started, Shepard. Hit the keystone.
Boy. Home down. So I like that. Oh, hey, another one. I like that Tuchanka is basically just a post-apocalyptic wasteland. And the lore behind it, like how this all happened. That this was almost everything that happened on Tuchanka that made it like this, was before they achieved spaceflight. This was before the war. This was before
Let's
the
get started, Shepard.
before the Krogan
Hit the
rebellions, before even the Rachni War. This city in particular, was from the Krogan rebellions. But almost the entire planet was destroyed in basically a nuclear apocalypse when they blew each other and themselves up. And then, years later, the Solarians
First the Krogan conquered Tuchanka.
Oh, hey, they're gonna tell
and
us.
mastered a natural world only we are fit to hold.
Actually, hold on a second. I realize that my volume on my game audio volume is way high. Is that a problem? Should I turn that down? Let's do that. I just realized that. I forgot to switch this back. I was recording something else, and I wanted full volume on my recording, so... Oops. Let's see if this is any better, because I just realized that's probably super loud. Kylie says, also, I'm working on homework, and my brain is not focusing at all. I don't know if it's because it's Monday. Yeah. Read. Okay, yeah, Erica says it was fine for talking, but yeah, combat's probably going to be pretty loud. I'll tell you what else I'll do. Dialogue's all the way up. Okay, that's probably a fine balance. That'll work. Alright, cool. Fighting time.
Here they come. I'm ready.
It's Varen, right? Yeah, it's Varen. Where?
Yeah, right on your ass.
Where's Morden? Oops.
Neutralized.
These beasts will know I'm worthy.
Alright, is that it? Another wave? Oh yeah, there's more.
Just the thing to help. One down.
Oh.
They'll all die.
One down. Neutralized.
One more.
Next.
Hey, Go Dreamer. Good evening. Good to see you. Thanks for stopping by. You're in the middle of Grunt's loyalty mission. This should be a lot of fun. We learn a little bit about Tuchanka's history, which is what I was just talking about, which we see a little bit of the sort of nuclear apocalypse from even before they were uplifted by the Krogan, or sorry, by the Solarians and used as weapons and all of that stuff.
One more. One more.
So,
There. These beasts will know I'm worthy.
right, there we go. So yeah, we see the remains here of a civilization that basically destroyed itself before they even had a chance to be destroyed by others. Yeah, Ego says Tuchanka is the Mad Max world from Mass Effect. Yeah, 100%, 100%. It's like a Klingon version of Mad Max. Yes, I know.
The Krogan were lifted to the stars to destroy the fears of a galaxy. An enemy only we could chase to their lair.
All right.
Crawlers.
So presumably that is not presumably that. Oop! Wow. Okay. Harvester. That is referring to the
Enemies inbound.
to the what's it
On
called?
the ground now.
To the Rachni. Explosions. Yeah, by the way, this really tells a lot about Krogan evolutionary biology, that these are the native life forms of their planet.
Next.
It's also worth noting that if you look at their biology, Krogan are a prey species. And if you look at this kind of stuff, it's quite understandable why that things like Klixen, which are, by the way, the baby version of the Harvesters, the big flying thing, the dragon thing, that Harvester. These Klixen are the young of that thing, as I understand it. I might be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure.
I'll put them down.
Killed that one.
Alright. Rifle time. There we go. Hey. But yeah, they're basically super insects. Are they coming back over here? Or is that it? Oh yeah, more.
Just the thing to help.
I'll put them down.
Yeah, Ego says, yeah, Krogans aren't aggressive by accident. Yeah, no, not at all. They basically evolved to be the way that they are. It makes perfect sense. Like, knowing this about their homeworld and knowing how they breed and everything makes sense. Really like frogs, really.
Our curse. It is a fight where the only goal is survival.
Feel that? Everything is shaking. I am ready.
Oh. Oh, tentacles. Alright, you know what tentacles mean? Tentacles mean it's nuke time. I don't understand exactly what's up with the tentacles, but I don't think they have any relationship to what we're about to be fighting. In at least past times, we have seen such creatures. Maybe they do have tentacles. Ah, yes! It's one of those.
Finally, it's enemy with...
Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo! Oh, jeez. Power cells. Oh, God. Okay, here we go. More power cells. I need more power cells. Here we go. Full up. Oh, no, I'm 99%. Oh, no. All right, here we go. Darn it. Are there any more power cells? Is there enough for another shot with the nuke launcher? Oh, jeez.
Should burn through any armor. Taking heavy fire.
Oh, God. I think they... Yes, absolutely, Sentinel. Got him. That's it. I think we did it. Yeah, here you go, Sentinel. Sentinel is probably my favorite class, at least in the trilogy. Maybe Adept. Adept is close, because I like sitting back and being a caster, but Sentinel gives me the option to just kind of run and gun.
No one has done that in generations. Word Not Rex was the last. My Krant gave me strength beyond
My man
genes,
Rex.
which are damn good. This will cause discussion. I wonder. You say you are pure, no alien meddling in your construction, just the warlord Okir.
The best Krogan traits are distilled into Grunt. He's designed to be perfect.
Being designed is the problem, but not made by aliens. And he is truly powerful. That is a tolerable loophole. A what? A reason to accept you. You are a mistake, but your potential could tip the current balance of the clans. You spit on my father's name, on Shepard's name, but now you stop ranting because I'm strong. With restrictions. You could not breed, of course, or serve on an alien ship, but you'd be clan in name.
Okay, so Ego, talking about Sentinels. I love how BioWare makes them unique in the second game. Absolutely. First game, it was kind of trash, honestly. Just to nerf the hell out of it in the third game for zero reason. I actually disagree. I actually disagree about nerfing Sentinels in the third game. I do think that it is a different build choice. That Sentinel gives you two options in 3. In 2, it more or less has one thing that you can do, which is you can be tanky enough, but power spammy. Right? It's a balance. It's a pretty balanced class. In 3, you have to sort of tailor your build to whether you want to be a tank and just put everything into power armor, into tech armor, I mean, and then, you know, go detonating like wild and just load up with guns, don't care about power recharge or anything like that, and just be indestructible, better than a soldier. That's build number 1. Build number 2 in Mass Effect 3 is to power spam, is to be the dedicated, basically the dedicated caster, be the magic class, with a really good combination of tech and biotic. For that, it's probably even best, at least most of the time, not even to use tech armor, so you can keep up with the regen, the power regen. Just use 1 or 2 weapons. because that 3 gives you a lot more versatility when it comes to regen times and weapon weight and stuff like that. Really, Ego says that I get it, but the tank build just didn't work for me. Oh, I've rocked with that thing. It's amazing under the right conditions, and if you have the right weapons loadout. And by the right weapons loadout, I mean tons of weapons. Oh, okay, Ego, this might explain. Ego says, I play on a console, so my aim is far from a pro gamer. Got it. This thing helps a lot with that. Yeah, mouse and keyboard lets you really take advantage of precision aiming and such. So you can have the weapon strength to compensate for your lack of power spam. It's either that or you can still use tech armor, and I usually do, at least maybe not on veteran, but a lot of the time I'll still use it, and just have, or not on sanity, I mean, I'll still use it, but I'll make sure that all of the variant versions are on the cooldown reduction, rather than damage protection, explosion radius, and that kind of stuff. Hey, listen, mouse and keyboard is not cheating. It's just a different way of playing. Honestly, my preference for shooters is probably not even mouse and keyboard. Of all the ways I've played shooters, it has to go to Wii Remote and Nunchuck, and that is super weird. But the intuitive motion control basically works like a mouse, but with a third dimension. You know? And it's fantastic for aiming and shooting. I've had a lot of really good times with Wii Remote and Nunchuck as far as shooters go. And I really I like it a lot. I like it a lot because it also gives you the fine control in the sort of the center, because you can aim at different parts of the screen without turning the camera. The only way to aim with a mouse and keyboard in almost every shooter is the entire field of view moves. Whereas with a Wii Remote Nunchuck, you can aim really, really precisely without looking all over the place. You only experience Wii Sports, so I'll take your word for it. Games that I'll recommend for really good shooters on the Wii. One of the Medal of Honor, I think it was Medal of Honor Heroes. It was a standard World War II shooter with a pretty decent online multiplayer when it was still active. But also a great campaign, which was actually really, really good. The whole thing was actually really good, especially for the sake of like using the motion controls. That was good. Metroid Prime 3 Corruption was phenomenal. It was probably the best of the Metroid Prime series, maybe one of the best Metroid games, and probably like in competition for the best Wii exclusive title. And then there's this really relatively small studio game called The Conduit. No relation to Mass Effect at all. It was basically Illuminati conspiracy theories, the game. It was a hell of a lot of fun. Honestly, I would consider streaming it because the story for it was actually decently short. Except I have no way of recording it from my old Wii, which is disappointing. And yeah, I would totally love to do I'd totally love to record a Metroid Prime series. But again, like I said, I have no way of, I don't even have 2 on the GameCube anymore. I think I still have the first one. I don't think I have the second one anymore. And I have no way of recording either of them, either GameCube or Wii. Fortunately. Because I don't have a capture card or anything. I would love to, because I love that series, and I especially love the philosophical implications of the lore on Brio, on the first planet in 3. Really, really cool. It's that when science goes too far, and people turn on it, and this kind of war between magic and science, and really cool themes. Really, really cool themes that I just love in there. And I'd love to talk about it. I might actually just do an independent video on it. Maybe. Write that down so I don't forget it.
You talk like he's a thing. You're after his power. You don't really want him in your clan.
Of course not. I didn't really want to cooperate with Clan Erdnot either, but I had to. Clan Gatatog is on the verge, either of greatness or of joining the dust. I get traditional support if I fight you, and reformer support if I back you. Your rite of passage tipped that balance too.
Yes. So yes, he's another big theme of this game, which we see in Miranda, which we see later on with a character we haven't seen yet, who we see with the Geth in general, who we see hell even with Shepard, is treating persons as objects or treating persons as means, as tools, rather than seeing them as persons. And here we go again. This is another perfect case of this. It's Uvankir basically doesn't care about Grunt. He cares about what Grunt can get him, and he sees Grunt explicitly as an object, not as a person. And I really like the kind of personalist. One might call humanist for fear, except for fears of being, in this context, racist. Another video forthcoming. But yeah, this is a very humanist approach, or a very, let's say, personalist, probably a better term, approach to this game. Takes a very good personalist to these kinds of questions, which is great. Love it.
It's your choice, Grunt. Sounds like an easy job.
That's the problem. I'm pure Krogan. Ulvik, you were the pretender.
Your head is valuable whether you're alive or dead.
Oof.
Just try to take it.
Oh, rocket
spotted.
launcher, huh?
My kin charging!
Try a real man's weapon.
Yeah, you were talking about precision, mouse and keyboard. There you go.
Time to die. Ready to die.
Yeah, this kind of does feel like cheating. Now that you mention.
Time to die.
What can you miss? It's just point and click.
I'll put them down.
Okay, come on now. Oh yeah, I forgot. This guy's biotic.
Hold the line.
Alright, let me make sure there's no more loot to get.
Problematic.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Krogan charging.
Too late!
Back.
Now you're dead!
I'll let Grunt take it. Yeah, there we go. Good boy, Grunt. Here's my boy.
Ulvik is meat. Let's signal at the Keystone to get out of here and leave him to rot.
Oh, well, he's gone. He burned away. That was a good fight. Good fight. Grunt has significantly narrower hips than most Krogan, it seems. Either that or his armor is just styled very differently. Ego says, maybe it's just me, but I would really love to see the return of auto-aim options in TPS games for a change. I could see that. I could see that working really well, especially for controllers.
You have passed the rite of passage, earning the honor of clan and name. Many survive, but it has been years since a Thresher Maw fell. Your names shall live in glory. Grunt, you are Urdnot. You may now own property. Join the army and apply to serve under a battle master.
Shepard is my battle master. She has no match.
Understood. Congratulations, Urdnot Grunt. Accept this token from Fortak. His weapons are the finest we have.
The idea of auto-aim. I need to turn the game back up slightly. Let me see if I can just do that in the middle of the cutscene. I think I can. But let's try that. If it gets bad, let me know. I'll fix it. No. Yeah, the idea of auto-aim reminds me a lot of like a lot of older games really made use of auto-aim to make the gameplay work better, work for it. So like auto-targeting and such. Which I tend to like that kind of system for a lot of things. Like for example, a good example of a lack of auto-aim being a strict downgrade in gameplay was the shift from Dragon Age 2 to Dragon Age Inquisition. 2, you could, and this was whether for melee or for ranged, it was a targeting, like you would target an enemy and then you would attack. You could use your basic attack or your abilities or whatever. And because of the auto aim, you could more focus on managing your different abilities, right? And managing your positioning and managing your squad mates, your teammates, right? All of this stuff was great. Whereas in Inquisition, there was still a sort of help aim. Like, as long as you are, pointing vaguely at your target, it's going to be, aiming at the target, especially for, magic and range and stuff. But at the same time, you could very, very easily miss if you were not carefully focusing on your target, which means that you can't keep looking around with the camera and managing your teammates. Managing your teammates, managing your abilities, managing spells and magic and like grenades and things. You couldn't do all of that because you had to keep the camera focused in on who you were attacking. That, I think, is a major, major benefit for auto-aim. You can lock on and maintain, attacking a target and move the camera, right? Manipulate the camera around so you can see the whole battlefield. It opens up the possibilities for movement, for strategy, for tactics, for movement. I said movement, for all of the extra components of gameplay. I just a YouTuber I follow named Critical Drinker. He does a lot of movie, TV, and game reviews. One of the ones that he just looked at was a retrospective on Tomb Raider, going back to the first Tomb Raider game and looking at how auto-aim makes the combat work for the original Tomb Raider. And I think that he has a very good point about it making the combat so much more dynamic than the current generation of Tomb Raider games, which are third-person shooters. It's very, very straightforwardly, it's a cover shooter, just like Mass Effect. It's basically just, take cover, return fire, rather than the old Tomb Raider, which was so dynamic. It was all about moving around, dodging attacks, getting out of the way of things, getting yourself into a better position, all that kind of stuff. If you can't find the video, it's one of his recent ones. His name's Critical Drinker. If you find it, I highly recommend it. Otherwise, I will, like I said, the other thing, I'll throw it in the description of this stream afterwards. Ego says, Critical Drinker, love his video. I saw the Tomb Raider one. Good stuff. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I do think that, especially for games like that, with that kind of dynamic movement and everything, auto-aim really can help. I have to wonder what a Mass Effect game with auto-aim would look like. It seems like with the mobility of Andromeda, if you added auto-aim, that would give you a lot of cool options. That would give you a lot of cool options.
What were you called before you became shaman?
I gave up my name when I became the shaman. I am a conduit for the rage and bloodlust of my people. It would be wrong to retain my old identity. My life belongs to the clan.
All right. That's kind of cool. He's basically is the clan. He represents the clan.
Tell me about Krogan rites and ceremonies.
You have seen the rite of passage. Krogan suffer the rite of life at birth, and the rite of honor when they wish to be considered for breeding. The rite of firsts is suffered before a Krogan faces a new enemy. A clan leader also undergoes many rites in service to the clan.
What rites did you go through to become Chief Shaman?
Becoming the shaman is excruciating. I passed through rites that made me wish to die. I carry the scars on my soul. I must perform rites each dawn and dusk to keep me bound into our Krogan nature. Our spirit is one of violence and death. I must be attuned to that.
Your job is awful.
Indeed.
And I love this. This is something that our modern culture and our modern sensibilities find odd at best and repellent at worst. But I really like the idea of the rites that initiate one into oneself, into one's community, into one's clan, to one's world. It's almost liturgical in that sense, right? Everything has a way of doing things that binds everyone and everything together. Whether it's a rite of passage, right? Like Ego mentioned, right, with what Grunt just went through. or whether that is all of the rites that he's talking about, even every morning and night, right? And it's to keep him bound up in what it is to be Krogan and what it is to represent the Krogan people and the Urdnot people in this case. Ego says, Grunt is like the representation of your kid going through teenage changes and stuff. Yeah, absolutely. And again, like I was saying earlier, before you got on here, right, that this relationship between Shepard and Grunt, I think the fandom kind of gets it just about right when they kind of point this to like a mother-son kind of relationship, which is another thing I really like about playing FemShep as opposed to ProShep, is because she plays this role so well with Grunt. She really does. She is a mother figure to him, a badass mother figure, but a nurturing mother nonetheless that sort of guides her through these things and nurtures and encourages rather than being the one challenging, right? Being the one challenging him like a father figure would. But I do think that I really like the relationship dynamic between Shepard and Grunt. Even as it develops into the third game, it's really, really good. That's one of the things that I really think they got right in the sort of transition from 2 to 3. Grunt's character took some weird hits there. Like I was saying, he kind of gets flanderized a little bit, but his relationship with Shepard develops wonderfully. Yes, Ego, mother figure with a nuke gun. Is there any other kind?
I want to know about Tuchanka's past.
Tuchanka is a place of great gifts. It kills the weak, torments the slow, and destroys the stupid. Survival is an honor, and here, Krogan thrive. We cover this planet with our civilization, only to burn it to the ground a dozen times over. Each time, we grow stronger. When we are wise and powerful enough, we will tame the planet forever.
I've never heard anyone say that wiping out their own civilization was a good thing.
I'd have thought you, of all aliens, would understand, Shepard. The Krogan Empire
I do, I just wanted to click all the dialogue options.
Were glorious, built in great battles and conquests, but their cores were weak. How else could they have fallen? When Krogan civilization achieves its apex, there will be no stopping it. No stopping us.
So, you can kind of characterize this as a sort of creative destruction kind of thing. Sort of thing that you'd find in... kind of the sort of thing you would find in economics, right? Where creative destruction, the weak give way to the strong, that sort of thing. But I think it's significantly different from that because it has this connotation, element of violence that is absent in economic exchanges. Right? But at the same time, in an environment like this, when Krogan are basically frogs, right? They're frogs in a pond full of dangerous fish, snakes, and predatory plants. Snakes that are the size of buildings. Then yeah, I think that this makes a lot of sense, especially given that Krogan birth rates are basically frogs, right? They have thousands of children a year, without the genophage at least. With the genophage, that's obviously significantly reduced, but with the genophage, they have thousands of children a year, and it's just that most of them die or killed by their death planet.
I should go.
May your foes be strong enough to keep you sharp.
Yeah. I'll take it.
Thanks for yelling. The problem though is, of course, that without that environmental pressure, it becomes very hard to regulate one's population. Right? With a concern for each individual comes the problems of population growth. And honestly, this is one of the I'm usually, as you probably know, I'm hugely skeptical of the idea of overpopulation. I think it's very silly when it's applied to most circumstances, including the Drell. We talked about that last week a little bit, how that's that sort of Malthusian idea behind the Drell's history. It's kind of silly.
A human killed the Thresher Maw on foot.
Yeah. But yeah, so that was that I think is kind of silly. But in a case where, like the Krogan, I think, there could be at least a real danger of overpopulation, just because of the speed at which they breed and the evolutionary pressures that they developed under. With technology and spaceflight and comparative peace, those pressures are lifted, and that just means that they're going to be developing out of control, unless they can find a way of societally controlling that, or even individually controlling that. Which might be reasonable, but if you lay and fertilize 1,000 eggs at a time, that'd be difficult. Unless it's something like the development of the like a stringency applied to the right of honor, the right to breed, something like that. But then you might miss out on genetic diversity, and it's tough. It's tough, and I think their culture could develop to it. It's just that it didn't have time to when they were uplifted by the Solarians. They got a jump in technology that gave them a jump in their biological context before their social context could adapt.
Go away. The envoy to the female clans doesn't have to listen to aliens.
All right.
Don't crowd.
Back more.
Turn back, human. I may be an ambassador among my people, but that doesn't mean I have to speak to the likes of you. I am Erdnot Grunt. This human is part of my Krant. Erdnot allows humans in a candidate's Krant. Interesting. I am the ambassador to Erdnot from Clan Nakmor. We're a small clan based in the Kratic Wastes.
He's going to Andromeda in just a few months. Or at least most of his clan is, if not all of his clan. Yeah, retroactively, Clan Nakmor is basically the clan that, I think the only clan, that went wholesale to Andromeda in the fourth game. And they leave between Mass Effect 2 and Mass Effect 3. Ego says fertility tournament, where only the strong ones can survive, have a right to pass on the legacy, kind of. Yeah, I mean, something like that. Yeah, you're right. The Krogan scenario was a really tricky one. Something like that is decent. And that's probably something like what the right of honor already is, except it would probably have to be more stringent or something like that. And maybe. But then again, you also have the problem of genetic diversity. If you have 1,000 children with the same parents, if you have 1,000 siblings at a time, that gives problems to genetic diversity in terms of who gets to mate with whom, and then you have to wind up worrying about things like incest, which otherwise you wouldn't necessarily have to with a slower birth rate, or a high birth rate but with a lot of attrition. Attrition, I just mean children dying. So it becomes very, very difficult in their civilized circumstances. Ideally maybe there would be a way to limit the gradually select for fewer like smaller crushes of eggs or something like that. But again, that gets into ethically murky territory of interfering with the reproductive process, right? Which can get finicky, especially in the experimentation phase. I don't know.
If Nakmor is a small clan, how do you keep the more powerful clans from destroying you?
We are the clan of the great warlord Nakmor Krall, who faced down platoons of Turians and won. Most clans lend us the respect our ancestor is due.
What business does Clan Nakmor have with the Erdnot?
Clan leader Rex requested that I come. He and Clan Nakmor have been in talks about a more permanent alliance. With our help, Erdnot could rally others behind its banner and truly unite Tuchanka, and we would gain the chance to fight in larger battles with greater plunder.
I guess that negotiation falls through, because Clan Nakmor just sort of leaves the galaxy, like I said, in like 3 months from now.
I thought all Krogan want to be warriors. What makes a Krogan become an ambassador?
You don't know as much as you think, human. A Krogan diplomat has to represent the strength of his people, or his clan appears ripe for conquest. I slaughtered my way to the top of my clan, human. I speak with the authority of a warrior.
Yeah, Ego adds, the chances of a disease carried out by DNA flaws become really high with so many proxy individuals. I'm gonna have to take your word for that.
I'm sure you are needed.
I know very little, if anything, about genetic diseases and spread of diseases at all, really, in general. It's not my expertise at all. Medicine isn't my area. I think I understand vaguely what you're talking about, but I'm not completely sure. I don't know the mechanics of it, so I have to take your word for it. It does make sense, though, I think, that with so many children with roughly the same DNA, or at least the sources of DNA, if there's a problem with one, there's more likely to be a problem with a lot of them.
This Tuchanka back from a skirmish without its combustion manifold. They say it got shot off in the field. You tell me, how can you expect a Tuchanka to run without a combustion manifold?
Any idea where I could find a combustion manifold?
Yeah, I can make one. Give me 3 days and a barrel of Ringcall. The one they lost is probably still out in the field. It's too much to expect them to collect it and bring the damn thing back.
I'm going out in the field. If I see a combustion manifold, I'll bring it back with me.
If you did, it would save me a lot of work. Maybe bring back my sunny disposition.
All right.
Let me get out of your way.
Don't do me any favors.
But I just said I was gonna. It's okay, right? I can do that.
Krogan's hit by genophage, nuclear assaults, civil wars. Still survive.
Yeah, no thanks to you. Or anyone else.
Impressive to see life adapt, continue despite circumstances. Inspiring.
Ego says, I take the giant incest scenario. Yeah. And, you know, here's something I just realized. It's easy to forget how freakishly tall Solarians are. Look at this. The world. I think of Solarians as short. Little grays, you know. But no, I'm going to punch the Pontiac. Get out of here. Alright, let's talk the shopkeeper.
Should you be, as I understand it, Clan Erdnot has a new member. So, you're our new warrior. The shaman gave you the customary upgrades, I assume. He's fast to pass up my work as his reward. Use them well. The Lord High Researcher for Clan Erdnot has no time to make replacements.
Lord High Researcher?
Discount.
I take it you're a scientist.
I used to be a scientist. I designed weapons. Now my genius is wasted on frivolous things. Things that don't explode. My predecessor said no one would understand the true worth of my work. As I pulled my blade from his chest, I knew he was telling the truth.
Not exactly what I would call effective academic peer review.
I don't care what you call it. We value the will to use what we create, not just the ability to create it.
Oh, God.
We don't count success until the ground shakes in response.
I mean, look, if I had to defend my dissertation physically, it'd probably be easier than so logically and intellectually, but of course that does sort of seem purpose. Ego says things that don't explode suck. He is right. Usually true. And we know from this game and from Red Dead how much I truly enjoy explosions.
You must be working on something important.
I was building the biggest, best offensive ordnance yet. A real ground pounder. But the new clan leader wastes my time with frivolous research. Crop genetics, medicinal improvements. We can buy that stuff from the Solarians.
Solarians created genophage, I've heard.
Still
Still trust them with medicines and agriculture?
Yeah. What else can the Solarians do to us at this point? It's not like they can make us even more infertile. Actually, wait, forget I said anything.
Erica says to challenge my board of old people with a sword. Listen. No.
Sounds like the new clan leader has some very
It's a good idea,
ideas
but
on
let's
how to
not.
lead the Krogan.
If you want to know more, talk to him directly. He's my leader. I'll not say anything else about it.
Enjoy your research.
Yes, move along.
All right. Ooh, yes.
We can use this.
So yes. You don't need to yell. I'm right here. Yeah. The whole I've heard thing. Yeah, it's not like he personally worked on a development of the genophage. No, not that. Definitely not.
Don't touch anything.
Okay.
One wrong step.
All right, let's talk to the scout.
What do you want, human? Rex told me to be polite. He didn't say you were going to talk to me.
I'm looking for a Solarian. The Blood Pack captured him and he was last seen around here.
I heard about that Solarian. Poor bastard. If it's Blood Pack, then Clan Weirlock has him. Sent one of my scouts to check it out, but he never reported back. Guess they got him, too. Chief told me to give you one of the trucks. Just follow the highway to Weirlock's base, if you've got the quads to deal with him in the Blood Pack.
Okay, so I got excited about that there. Erica, see if you could message the Star Wars group, the Star Wars / Mass Effect group, our old tabletop buddies. That scout, the one who's missing, or not Darg, I brought in as an NPC in our game. Wound up being on our ship's crew. We did a Mass Effect tabletop for a good couple of years. A nice campaign taking place like 10 years or so after the destroy ending of 3. And I brought him in because I thought that the tiny interaction you get with him here is just great. He is such a cool character. He's such a great character. He's kind of a loser, but that's okay. It's okay. I gave him a really good ending. Not ending like he died. He didn't die. He retired in a way that only a Krogan can. And I'll talk about that more when we find him and talk to him.
What can you tell me about Clan Weirlock's base?
He's great.
Last I heard, the clan was holed up in an old hospital. I haven't seen it, though. I've only seen Clan Weirlock from a distance. If I'd gotten closer, I'd have taken a shot. You get inside, though, bring a big gun. Weirlock's base is crawling with Blood Pack.
That doesn't sound too defensible. Why'd they hole up there?
Any hospital on Tuchanka has to be built well enough to withstand a bunch of enraged Krogan. When an injury forces us to switch over to secondary organs, things get messy. Higher thought processes don't always transition properly. Blood rage, they call it.
So, Blood Rage makes perfect sense. It's a defensive thing because Krogan, in order to survive horrifying injuries, have redundant organs, redundant nerve systems, redundant everything. They have 4 balls. Males do at least. And so when you switch to your backups, it has this cool blood rage effect. That's always nice.
What's Clan Weirlock's reputation? And how are they involved with the Blood Pack?
Tough humps, and they're not friendly like we are. You ever run into the Blood Pack? Mercenary gang. Clan Weirlock started it. One of the only gangs with an off-world presence. They're fanatics, totally devoted to Weirlock Guld. Whatever they did with your Solarian, Guld's behind it.
What makes Guld so special?
He's got 2 children. One of them is a girl. Some people think he's got a destiny. Not me. I had a cousin who won 20 consecutive games of Quasar. Lucky bastard. I'd ask my cousin for a loan, but I wouldn't swear allegiance to him. Luck. That's all it is. Same for Guld.
But the Blood Pack has non-Krogan members like Vorcha.
Ha! The Vorcha. They're just like the Varen. Only they can use guns and don't crap on the floor as often. The Krogan are the only real members of the Blood Pack. Anyone else is just there to soak enemy fire.
Ego says, I always thought in so many scenarios that could be told after ME3 Destroy ending, to move the story to another galaxy was such a coward move. They already have a world built here. Such a waste. Yeah, I think so. I mean, at the same time, I know why they did it. I get it. It is in order to maintain the sort of no canon ending thing that they've been like obsessed over since 3 came out. Maintaining that there is no particular canon ending, right? Even though there's an obvious correct choice, and the highest EMS rating gives you, I'm not going to spoil it for those of you who haven't seen it, but the highest EMS rating gives you an extra added bonus at the ending. Really changes how things would be going forward. But yeah, I do think that it would have been easier, I think, for for BioWare to basically do what we did for our tabletop, which is to say, all right, destroy ending is canon for the purposes of continuity going forward. If you made other choices, that's cool. We're not going to question it. But moving forward, destroy is what happened with maximum EMS, and here's why. And then they tell stories. Erica says Shepard's story was done. If they continued in universe, they would have had to bring Shepard back in. Of all the endings, only Destroy is the correct one. Otherwise, it's a boring universe. Yeah, and I also agree with that too. Like the Reapers under the control of, basically, I won't say, but under the control of a friendly force is creepy. Creepy as all hell, and maybe there would be some interesting stuff to talk about, like enslaving former foes. Is it that? Is it? I don't know. It's kind of weird. Erica says, I admit, control might be interesting because of Reapers as basically Death Stars controlled by people. Not people, person. That's the other issue. That's weird. Yeah. Ego says if they've avoided writing themselves over the wall, none of that would have happened. That's true. I mean, honestly, the choice ending thing, I feel like it was unnecessary. If the ending had just been, Shepard shows up, blows up the Reapers, game over, win condition, then we wouldn't have had this problem. And it's just like how the choices you made so far up until that point, either one, decide if you can succeed, which would be cool, like getting to the end state, beating the game, and you still fail, that would be super controversial, but really cool if they had made that a possibility, other than the sort of walk away ending. That's separate. But then also, like, how it happens and what the aftermath and what some of the effects are, how people survive and how people... That would have worked. I think that would have worked very well. Erica said, I like the ending they had. Every game eliminated an option other than Destroy or the Fourth. Yeah. And I'll talk about that when we get there, because I think it's a really, really big deal. Because this game is all about why not select control. And then also part of it is about why not select synthesis, but that also comes back to the first game too. Erica says people probably would have complained no matter what they did. ME3 was too big of a game with too big of a crazy fanbase. Yeah, that's true too. But yeah, what we wound up doing for our tabletop, which I think actually worked very, very well, is we just said, okay, great. Destroy happened. It's been 10 years. People have begun rebuilding. People have begun reconnecting civilization, but only to an extent, because they only have conventional FTL travel, which can go between star clusters, but only by mapping very precise routes and being very careful, and it takes a very long time. And so there's some communication, but not galaxy-wide. There are pockets of civilization spanning throughout the galaxy. And so what we did is, all right, I let the players decide, where do we want to start? I came up with a few options. Do we want to start in this area with access to these systems? Do we want to start over here with access to these systems? And the idea of the campaign was to reestablish contact with others, with other parts of the galaxy, focusing first on Earth and the Citadel. And so they chose Terra Nova, starting point. So around Terra Nova, Eden Prime, Novaria, Elysium, the Hanar Limited Primacy was kind of in reach, like that little area of space. Right? And then I gave them two options. They could either be on the team that is trying to rebuild a mass relay, or they could be on the team that is trying to come up with new, faster-than-light technology that can go farther faster. And they chose to do the underdog one, the other one, the non-mass relay one. So I came up with some technobabble to explain how a tachyonic hyperdrive would work based in Mass Effect technology, which you can wave your hands enough to make that make enough sense, at least enough sense in the context of the game. And bam, we have a plot. We have a really good plot for a follow-up game. Of course, I kind of fell short of telling the story once they did begin to establish reestablish contact, because then it opened up a lot and it became its own. They became two minor players in a big thing, and I couldn't figure out how to write them into it properly, and so we're on a break from that for more or less indefinitely unless and until I come up with something really cool for sort of a next chapter. Moving out from Earth, reestablishing contact with the other capital worlds, that kind of stuff. Anyway, but yeah, it should be a lot of fun if we ever get back to it, and it's a really really cool plot. I think it worked really really well. Ego says ME3 overall feels like a pseudo homage to ME1, really, in some regards. In that case, we could be offered two options: save Earth and condemn the galaxy. Alliance, the Galactic Alliance to their fate, or forget Earth in the name of the recently formed Galaxy Alliance. And there, fair and simple. That would have been a hell of a Paragon Renegade choice. Because that really is right. That it really is what Paragon Renegade is about. Renegade is about humanity first, about us leading the charge, and Paragon is about the galactic community coming together. Right? Both of these are neither of them is a non-heroic option. It's just who is the focus, right? So yeah, I think Paragon is the better option. I think it is the more heroic option, but that's because of my particular personalist views. Yeah, Erica says people would have flipped their shit if we couldn't save Earth, on par with the unaltered ending. Yeah, that's true. People have been pissed, but it still would have been a really compelling ending. Which I honestly think the ending as is actually quite compelling. It's fascinating. It's a fascinating choice. Even if the choice has one right answer, it's a fascinating choice. So yeah, and or there are all sorts of things like my idea that I just kind of came up with off the top of my head of yeah, you can actually get to the finale of the game and finish the game, but if you didn't do things right, you still fail, and it's a game over at the end, and you tried, but you didn't do it. That would be really cool, and honestly, I can't think of many games that do that or make that an option. Call of Cthulhu did it, though. The recent Call of Cthulhu sort of point and click history adventure game for PC and 360, I think, or Xbox One. Sorry, no. I think that one did that. But yeah, I can't think of anything that isn't a walking simulator, basically, that does that sort of thing. I think it would have been really cool and honestly quite controversial for a big series like Mass Effect to do it. Yeah, Erica, there is no win. There's no win condition in Call of Cthulhu. There is go home, go insane, and don't summon an Elder God. That's the best you got. They're all bad endings. That is Call of Cthulhu. That's the Lovecraft mythos. There is no happy ending for anyone who gets involved with the myth.
Any idea what they're doing with the Solarian?
I assume they wanted to torture him. You don't take somebody home just to kill them. It's messy. Maybe he pissed off the Blood Pack, and they brought him here for special treatment. No skin off my hump what they'd do with him. One less alien on Tuchanka.
You don't seem to have much love lost for aliens.
Don't get your quads in a twist. If I was gonna kill you, you'd know it. Rex believes we need to unite the Krogan people. I don't think we can do that with off-worlders interfering, but it's not my call.
Fair enough. All right, let's go do it. And let's do some weapon switching out, because I don't want to keep the... Okay, so here's the thing. Should I... Yeah, I'm going to take Grunt. I should take Grunt on this one. I was thinking about taking Tally, because there's a really funny moment if you bring Tally, but I'll just sort of remind you guys. Yeah, I'm definitely keeping that armor. It's really cool. It's with Tally and Darg, or not Darg, Scout. I'll see if I can find a clip of it to also put in the description afterwards to kind of compare to what we get with Grunt. But yeah, no, it's great. It's funny. Okay. Let's go with Crow. go with Fortification. Wait for Neural Shock, because it's awesome. And then switch out Arcane. I don't need it this time for the Singularity Project. 490. And that'll do the job. And this one is way more about genocide. Or at least about unjust war. Because there's a lot of debate as to whether the genophage was technically a genocide or not. The whole time, Morden's trying to make excuses, so we'll probably talk about that. What counts as genocide and to what degree, if there are degrees of such thing. Genocide is something that is of degree. Let's weapon mod up.
Change weapons.
Switch. Here we go. Still. Oh. Why there? It's weird.
Ahead!
Thought I was harmless, did you?
More.
Kill that one.
Alright. Flexen, huh? Oh, right. Heck armor. Yeah, now this is a more proper mission, less of an arena thing. Oh, get out of here.
Too late. Now you're dead.
Chatter. Oh. Okay. Vorcha. Vorcha are creepy. Ego says Phalanx has such a heavy punch. Damn. Yeah, absolutely does. Love this gun. It's DLC only, which thanks to everybody who helped me get the DLC for this game. Otherwise, I wouldn't have this monster.
I am Krogan!
Go.
Should do the trick.
That's good. It does not have a lot of ammo, though. Although I will say it has more ammo than the Artifacts. And it hits a lot harder.
Incoming! Too late! Now you're dead! Worthless! Stand up shotgun? Nice!
Ooh, that's not good.
Hostiles charging.
Got him. By the way, I don't know if anyone who has played this game, don't know if you know this, that the flamethrower Vorcha explode if you overload them, or if you shoot specifically their tanks. Pyros, see? Boom. Horrifying, but awesome. Yeah, definitely the low ammo count is for balancing. That's purely it.
Nice shooting.
Enjoy.
Good shot. It has the laser sight, so it helps with ammo conservation a little bit.
Feel the blood river!
Oh, darn it, where's the...
Wait!
Oh, he's over there. Okay. But yeah, it's, hey, combustion manifold. Nice, got it. But yeah, the low ammo count is, I mean, it balances out. The laser sight is a little bit wibbly-wobbly, which makes it a little bit difficult to use, but it does help you conserve ammo a little bit. Which it desperately needs. Desperately needs a both an incentive and a little bit of help to conserve ammo with a gun like this.
Repurposed Krogan Hospital. Sturdy, built to withstand punishment.
Oh, blood rage, you know. Ah, here we go.
That body, human. Need to take a look. Sores, tumors, ligatures showing restraint at wrists and ankles, track marks for repeated injection sites. Test subject, victim of experimentation.
I don't suppose there's a way to tell who this poor bastard was.
No tattoos or ID. Maybe slave or prisoner, maybe merc or pirate. Irrelevant now. Clearly part of Krogan tests to cure genophage. Humans useful as test subjects, genetically diverse, enables exploration of treatment modalities.
Experimenting on humans? That kind of crap is what makes Cerberus start to seem like a good idea.
Never used humans myself. Disgusting, unethical, sloppy. Used by brute force researchers, not thinkers. No place in proper science. Krogan use of humans, unsurprising.
I imagine you had to do some live subject testing while developing the new genophage.
No, unnecessary. Limited tests to simulations, corpses, cloned tissue samples. High-level tests on Varen. No tests on species with members capable of calculus. Simple rule, never broke it.
It's a weird rule, but fair enough. That definitely doesn't track quite properly to Sapiens, but okay. Ego says the laser could be green though. Much better to see aim at the see or aim than red or blue ones. Very true. But green, I have found, sort of violates the color palette of the Mass Effect look, which is orange and blue. Everything's orange and blue. If you look at any hologram, it's orange and blue. Look on the screen right now. It's orange and blue. Right there. It is 100% 80s neon. The only exception to this is on very rare occasions, bright fluorescent pink. Think the Phoenix armor from the first game. Everything else is orange and blue. So, what are you going to do? They got to keep to an aesthetic. Efficiency be damned. Which, incidentally, a bright orange view screen, like the Omni tools, would kill your eyes really quickly. Oh man, that would suck. It'd suck. Although I guess maybe it's better than bright blue. Right, we have blue screen filters on stuff for night mode, that kind of thing. So, but that looking at that all the time, kill you.
Wouldn't something native to Tuchanka work better? Varen, maybe?
Yes, human experiments strictly high-level concept testing. Native Tuchanka fauna likely used later in development stages. Wise to delay use of Varen until necessary. Powerful bite.
Ego says, true, but in some cases, it's really hard to see blue laser in some places. Yeah, oh no, I agree. I agree completely. I have a green laser, I have a red laser. I've used blue lasers, I don't have one. But yeah, they're relatively hard to see. The beam of a blue laser is actually quite visible. Probably still doesn't stand up to a green, though. Green is probably still better. But the beam is actually quite visible in a blue laser, so that they actually get that right as far as the phalanx goes. Had astronomy teachers and things use them for like star pointing. Star pointing blue lasers work really well. Maybe even better than green, just because you can get higher power out of a blue laser than green one. But kind of experience.
What can you tell about their experiments from looking at the body?
Position of tumors suggests deliberate mutation of adrenal, pineal glands, modifying hormone levels, counterattack on glands hit by genophage. Clever.
Do you think they're close to curing the genophage?
Can't say. Need more data. Conceptually sound, though, genophage alters hormone levels, could repair damage with hormonal counterattack.
How are humans more genetically diverse?
More variable. Peaks and valleys, mutations, adaptations, far beyond other life. Makes humans useful test subjects. Larger reactions to smaller stimuli.
I know we can look much different from each other, but Asari have a wide range of skin tones.
No, ignore superficial appearance, down to genetic code. Biotic abilities, intelligence levels. Can look at random Asari, Krogan, make reasonable guess. Humans, too variable to judge. Outliers in all species, of course. Geniuses, idiots. But human probability curve offers greater overall variety.
Yeah, so this is weird. So basically the idea is that the human probability curve is shallower and wider in terms of any given biotic ability or intelligence or whatever. Genetic diversity. Genes are far more diverse in humans than in other races. That probably shouldn't be the case, especially at this point in history. And I've looked into this. I've found that this is probably a stretch. Humans, because they have been on one planet that has been largely cosmopolitan for about 300 years at this point. 300-ish years. Basically with genetic differences being evened out by interbreeding throughout human population. For again, like 300 years. This is the 200 maybe. Let's say 200 years. This is the 2180s. So at least since the 20th century, humans have been more or less a cosmopolitan species. Genetic diversity comes from isolation. Isolated population groups, their genes diverge. We see this in speciation on Earth, so it stands to reason that we would see genetic diversity to be more prominent in species with more far-flung colonies. Given the history of Mass Effect at this point, the most genetically diverse species, if what we know of genetics in 21st century science tells us anything, should be the Turians. The Turians have a homeworld, they have Palaven, and they have a united basically empire. They have a united civilization. But they spent hundreds, if not even thousands, maybe thousands of years. A very significant amount of time, dozens of generations, with far-flung colony worlds that were completely isolated from one another. They use things like sleeper ships to get to far-flung colony worlds, not even through mass relays. And so Turian colonies, and this is why they had the Turian Unification Wars, which is basically the Unification War from Firefly, it's basically the Unification War in Firefly, except it was broader, it was more than one star system. But yeah, the idea with this is that because there were these isolated colonies, and so many of them, that have been independent and isolated for so long, then Turians should be genetically very diverse. There should be differences between a Palaven native Turian and a Turian from any given colony. Colonies should be diverse from each other, and they should have a wide range of genetics. This is the same kind of thing where we see genetic diversity take place in isolated people groups on Earth, or in isolated groups of a species. Darwin's finches is the go-to example of this. We see even speciation occur in isolated groups like this. But maybe human genetics just simply work differently than the genetics of different races, especially given that they have a fundamentally different DNA structure. Turians have different proteins that make up their DNA. So maybe it's that. Maybe that's why they have different amino acids and such. So maybe it's a difference in how the DNA works. Could be it. Ego says humans would be more variant than Asari. That's reaching there, Doctor. I would say on that note, that's actually kind of plausible. Because Asari are known to be, it's part of their culture and part of their biology to be exogamous. To seek out mates that are far from one's own genetics. And so what that does is that evens out genetic diversity to the point where Asari purebloods, in other words, children of two Asari, are, individual Asari are so genetically similar that they are very prone to, even if they're not related, to produce mutated offspring. In other words, Ardat Yakshi. And this is because of their interbreeding across vast distances and their very slow reproduction cycle. Will very seldom have more than one child per 100 years. So they wouldn't have the opportunity to provide that kind of genetic diversity from their far-flung colonies like the Turians would, or even I guess apparently that's the humans do. But yeah, I do think that that is it's interesting. It is, if nothing else, interesting to consider. Well, why would humans be more genetically diverse? Does this make sense? I don't quite think it does. But I guess I could see how it would make sense that humans are more diverse than Asari. Unless maybe we can handwave something about different proteins or making DNA work differently for humans. Maybe it's that. I can't see why humans would be more diverse than Batarians, though. Vorcha. Or Solarian. Hell, Solarians. Solarians very carefully control their breeding, so I think they would have a good deal of diversity. But
Now we've got 2 reasons to shut this place down.
Focus on Malin. Too late to help the dead.
it's true. If there are living test subjects, though, we can certainly help them. Oh, here we go.
I am the speaker for Clan Werlock, Offworlders. You have shed our blood. By rights, you should be dead already. But Werlock Gold, the Chief of Chiefs, has ordered that you be given leave to flee and spread the message of our coming.
Krogan don't generally let people go. What does Clan Werlock have planned?
If you walk away now, you can tell your children that you saw Clan Werlock before our blood pact conquered the stars. You think the Erd not impressive? They are pitiful! Werlock Gold will destroy them! The Solarian will cure the Genophage, and Clan Werlock will spread across the galaxy in a sea of blood!
Appears they discovered Malin's work. Unfortunate.
It doesn't have to happen like this. I can understand wanting to cure the Genophage.
No, human, you understand nothing! You have not seen the piles of children that never lived. The Krogan were wronged.
Fair point.
We will make it right, and then we will have our revenge.
That is a fair point. I can certainly see how furious the Krogan would be.
Half the galaxy sees the Krogan as victims. If you start a war, you'll lose their support.
We have the Blood Pact, and we have the Solarian. When our clan numbers in the millions, we will not need support.
That's not true.
When we cure the Genophage, Werlock Gold will rule all Krogan. The Krogan rebellions will be...
You talk too much.
See? The human cannot hit a simple target.
You've been spotted.
Yeah, you're definitely right. Shepard probably cannot imagine.
I am Krogan! They're not dead yet! Nothing.
Darn it.
Close combat. Problematic.
Okay. That it? Yeah, you go. I agree. I don't think Shepard can quite imagine. That said, this is actually one of the things that I tend to get peeved about. When people emphasize, or I think overemphasize, the importance of something like lived experience. I do think that Shepard can, maybe not imagine. I don't think that's the relevant part. I think Revan, not Revan. Good lord, I'm thinking KOTOR too much. I'm eventually going to play KOTOR. I have to, on stream. Anyway, Shepard.
Labs
I think
likely through there. Can smell antiseptic. Hint of dead flesh.
I think Shepard even if she can't imagine, I think she can understand. And again, I think this is because we, as I say as humans, but I think I mean something more broadly than that. I think as sapient beings, as persons, an essential trait of our personhood is our ability to abstract, to understand things beyond our own particular experience. And to say that we're only capable of understanding what is specific to our own experience is to, in a sense, deny our rationality. I think there's something gratuitously wrong with that. I think it's too common of a trend to do that, to think that, well, because I haven't lived a particular experience, I can't understand what it's like to do so. I can't understand what's wrong with it. I think I can understand decently well what the Krogan have been through. Genophage has done. And it's horrible. Horrifying. And I can understand why they would be like this. And I don't need to go through it myself to understand that.
Active console may contain useful data. One moment. Genetic sequences. Hormone mutagens is still steady. Protein chains, live tissue, clone tissue. Very thorough. Standard treatment vectors. Avoiding scorched earth immunosuppressants to alter hormone levels. Good. Hate to see that.
Most people wouldn't be so casual about developing a sterility plague, Morden.
Not developing, modifying, much more difficult, working within confines of existing genophage, 100 times the complexity. Errors unacceptable, could cause total sterility, malignant tumors, could even reduce effectiveness, worse than doing nothing. Had to keep Krogan population stable, 1 in 1,000, perfect target, optimal growth. Like gardening.
That's super creepy. Erica, this is a good point, right? Erica says, but then you get into the problem of men, quote, understanding what it's like to be a woman when they say they're trans. That is true, right? And I think part of the issue here is experiential knowledge being quite distinct, being very different from abstract knowledge, conceptual knowledge. Right? I can understand in a conceptual sense what it is to be a woman, but that doesn't know I know of it subjectively. Maybe I can put myself into another's position to an extent, but I don't know their experiences per se. I can't truly feel what they feel, but I can know what they feel in the abstract. I think that's the important part, especially for ethical considerations. Right. But yeah, I do think there is a distinction to be made there, right? So maybe Shepard doesn't, and that's why I kind of said maybe Shepard can't imagine what it's like. He can't imagine having this done to her people. Because it wasn't, right? She can't experience it. At least certainly not firsthand. But she can understand what the Krogan have gone through in this abstract way and know that what's been done to them is wrong and know why and understand why they would react the way that they do. And I think you're right, that is a crucial, a very important difference. Without that difference, we wind up either on the one side denying our capability to rationally abstract, or on the other side, assuming that we have experiences or can have experiences that we simply can't, and we simply don't. Yeah.
Pretty it up however you like. You're talking about murdering millions.
No,
Yeah.
Murdered no one. Altered fertility, prevented fetal development of nervous system. Have
That's
killed many
still,
children.
yeah.
Many methods. Gunfire, knives, drugs, tech attacks. Once with farming equipment, but not with medicine.
Yeah, no, that's still genocide. That's still mass murder.
You're saying you were working just as hard to keep their population from falling?
Yes. Could have
Stillbirth is
eradicated
still
Krogan.
death.
Not difficult. Increased mutation to degrade genetic structure further. Chose not to. Rachni extinction tragic. Didn't want to repeat. All life precious. Universe demands diversity.
Okay, here we go. This is a big thing. All life is precious. What does he mean by that? Because he means something very specific by this. And it's something very different from what we ought to mean by that. He doesn't think all life is precious. He thinks all forms are precious at most. He values the Krogan, an imaginary entity, species. Does not value Krogan individuals. Right? And we see this all the time. You see this all the time in real life, in our real world experience. We see people who value humanity, but don't give a damn about human beings. People who value, right, who value a race, but don't give a damn about people who belong to that race, the actual members of that race. People who say they care about, for example, who care about black people, right, but don't actually care for any particular black person. People who, at least hypothetically, people who are white supremacists, but don't care about any individual, in particular white people, aside from maybe themselves. So it's, or even on the flip side of that, we might have people who hate a people group, but have no problem with the individuals who make that group up. And this is sloppy thinking, and it's dangerous, dearly dangerous thinking, because it can lead to this. Right? It can lead to placing the emphasis on the people rather than on the persons. It can lead to placing an emphasis on the group, on the species, rather than its constituent members. And that is horrifying. And it could lead to these kinds of results. And it often does lead to these kinds of results in our real world. This is the impetus behind sacrificing real people for the sake of an abstraction like humanity, or the race, or posterity, or anything like that. Or the common good, even. The common good can be this kind of error. So yeah, this is very, very dangerous thinking. This is anti-personalist thinking, and it is. I'm very glad that eventually Morden begins to see the error in what he does. Ego says, all life is precious. I see some Buddhism thing right there. Yeah. He talks about that in the next room, so I'll hold off. Ego, another good example. For the sake of the council, or for the sake of the galaxy, right? And this is why you get things like killing off millions of people for the sake of galactic survival. Right? Sacrificing a bunch of people to the Reapers so that they will spare the galaxy, right? People do this throughout the war. We hear all sorts of tales about this sort of thing. People who are basically indoctrinated into, but doing that, sacrificing people to the Reapers. In real individual people. I mean, real in the context of the fiction. Setting that aside. That's heinous.
You're saying you were working just as hard to keep their population from falling?
Yes, could have eradicated Krogan. Not difficult. Increased mutation to degrade genetic structure further. Chose not to. Rachni extinction tragic. Didn't want to repeat. All life precious. Universe demands diversity.
So Erica says the other side of this is, or if it saves just one life, in the abstract sense. And in the abstract sense is right? Yeah, if it saves one life, but then also destroys the lives or damages the lives of countless others, that's not saving one life. That's a trade-off. Right? It's just as much of a trade-off as Morden is doing here. Especially if it's in the abstract. Especially if it's saying, yes, this will save X number of lives. Well, maybe it will, but it might also have these other unintended consequences that are, as disastrous, more disastrous, or even setting aside utility calculus altogether. Maybe it's just wrong. Maybe it's just unjust. You can't just do that. If you've read it, if you haven't read it, I highly recommend an essay from C.S. Lewis titled "Man or Rabbit," that goes into this distinction of how the naturalist thinks versus how the theist thinks. And in large part, it's about the difference between utilitarianism and deontology, right? But also into sort of this collectivism versus individualism, versus inherent justice. It's worth reading. If you haven't read it, I highly, highly recommend it. I'll put a link to it in the description again once the stream is over. That one as well. It's definitely worth reading or listening to. I can find an audio version. Damn it, you ruined the moment, Ego. I can't stop thinking about Earthworm Jim when I see Morden. Damn it. Yes, unfortunately, I agree. Thanks for ruining everything. Oh, God. Alright.
Oh What was it like working on the genophage modification project?
Best years of my life. Wake up with ideas, talk over breakfast, experiments all morning. Statistical analysis in afternoon, run new simulations during dinner, set data runs to cook overnight. Laughter, ego, argument, passion. Galaxy's biggest problem. Massive resources thrown at us. Got anything we wanted.
Yeah, definitely a good academic environment, even if they were working on something.
Do you keep in touch with your old team members?
No. All changed with deployment. Made test drop on isolated Krogan clan, hit rest of Tuchanka when results were positive. End of project. Separate ways. Watching it end, watching birth rates drop. Personal. Private. Not appropriate for team.
Sounds like you were pretty important. How'd you go from that to running a clinic on Omega?
Wanted to heal people. Good use of last decade. Something easy. No ethical concerns. Understand rationale for modified genophage. Right choice. Still. Hard to sleep some nights.
At least he's bothered by it.
How can you agree with using the genophage, Morden? Look at what happened to Tuchanka as a result.
State of Tuchanka not due to genophage. Nuclear winter caused by Krogan before Solarians made first contact. Krogan choices. Refuse truce during Krogan rebellions. Expand after Rachni wars. Splinter after genophage. Genophage medical, not nuclear. No craters from virus. Damage caused by Krogan, not Solarians. Not me.
So if the Krogan banded together and formed a united government, you'd welcome that?
Yes. United Krogan saved Galaxy. Destroyed Rachni. Genophage not a punishment. Simply alters fertility to correct for removal from hostile environment.
Again, on paper, by the math, he's got a point. It does the job it needs to do. It's just, it clearly does so in an unjust way.
The effects on Tuchanka are still your responsibility. You upgraded the virus that kept them in barbarism.
Krogan committed war crimes. Refused to negotiate. Turian defeat not complete. Krogan could have recovered, attacked again. Conventional war too risky. Krogan forces too strong. Genophage was only option. Krogan forced genophage, us or them. No apologies for winning. Wouldn't have minded peaceful solution.
I mean, that is a fair point. It was a weapon of war, but it also was a weapon of war that targeted civilians. And, hell, targeted the entire species. It's a step too far. Probably a few steps too far. And yeah, last decade eco, that does mean, Solarians didn't live very long. Morden is in his, probably, I think he's 38, 37 or 38 at this point. He's very old for a Solarian. He does not have much time left, so he's making the best of it. Another thing that is really a theme of my streams, I think, of death approaching and making the best of things and making it, doing the right thing, making a difference, with knowing that your time is very limited.
We're not going to find Malin staring at consoles.
37.
Come on.
Good to know. But yeah, it's one of those where again, death really sharpens your focus on what is important. Especially the rapid approach of knowing that your time is limited and you only have so much more you can do. Makes you do it. Really good at convincing you to do something you know you need.
This looks interesting.
Dead Krogan, female. Tumors indicate experimentation. No restraint marks. Volunteer. Sterile, werelock female willing to risk procedures. Hoped for cure. Pointless. Pointless waste of life.
I didn't expect you to be disturbed by the sight of a dead Krogan.
What? Why? Because of genophage work? Irrelevant. No. Causative. Never experimented on live Krogan. Never killed with medicine. Her death not my work. Only reaction to it. Goal was to stabilize population. Never wanted this. Can see it logically. But still unnecessary. Foolish. Waste of life. Hate to see it.
I didn't think you'd had much direct contact with things like this. Did you come to Tuchanka after dropping your plague?
Yearly recon missions. Water, tissue samples. Ensure no mistakes. Superiors offered to carry it on. Refused. Need to see it in person. Need to look. Need to see. Accepted as necessary. See small picture. Remind myself why I run a clinic on Omega. Rest, young mother. Find your gods. Find someplace better.
I didn't expect spirituality from you, Morden.
Genophage modification project altered millions of lives, then saw results. Ego, humility, juxtaposition, frailty of life, size of universe. Explored religions after work completed. Different races. No answers. Many questions.
Sounds like you were trying to deal with your guilty conscience. The doctor who killed millions.
Modified genophage project great in scope. Scientifically brilliant. But ethically difficult. Krogan reaction visceral, tragic. Not guilty, but responsible. Trained as doctor, genophage affects fertility, doesn't kill. Still, caused this. Hard to see big picture behind pile of corpses.
I mean, it does cause stillbirth, which does kill. So yeah, no, it's mass murder, all right. It's medical mass murder.
Can you really just rationalize it all away? How do you justify it?
Wheel of life. Popular Solarian concept. Similar to human Hinduism in focus on reincarnation. Appealing to see life as endless. Fix mistakes in next life. Learn, adapt, improve. Refuse to believe life ends here. Too wasteful. Have more to offer. Mistakes to fix. Cannot end here. Could do so much more.
So yeah, very cyclical. Ego says, I always thought 100 years was too little time to live and see everything the world has to offer. Now, it takes less than half of that. Sure, that quick metabolism and thinking cover for that. Still, yeah. And I mean, again, it's 100 years is the scale we know. It seems like not enough time, but to someone who lives 50 years, or 40 years even, 100 years seems like a very, very long time. Someone who lives 25 years, somebody like a Vorcha, even 40 years seems like a long time. A lot of that is perspectival. And at the same time, it's the finitude of life that forces us to do things with. If we were naturally immortal in a world like this one, with things to do, we would never get it done. There's a concept in fantasy of the it's not the dragon sickness. It's something to do with dragons. Because dragons are, in most fantasy, in part a symbol of long time spans, of everlasting time spans. And where a dragon is the kind of creature to not do anything, to not actually get anything accomplished, because they will always, forever, have tomorrow. So they won't get anything done. Humans have this reputation in a lot of fantasy settings of being the ones who do stuff because we don't live very long. Compared to dragons, or compared to elves, or compared to dwarves, or whatever. We get stuff done because we have only so much time. That puts a pressure on us that it doesn't apply to a lot of people. To a lot of, to longer-lived fantasy races, or even sci-fi races like Asari or Grogan. Erica says, this is the problem with secular people not seeing the unborn as alive. Yup. They say stillbirth and think it was just the passing of tissue. Yeah, and the Krogan don't see it that way. For damn sure. They see it as millions dead. It is. Morden's completely in the wrong. Mass murderer. I don't think the developers really believed that. I mean, kind of. He does seem to realize what he did was wrong, but I think you're probably right. I don't think he realizes the scope of what he did. Or maybe people get, Erica continues, or maybe people who do get upset, but they don't know why. Very true. Maybe more upset at how the Krogan feel about it rather than children being exterminated. Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, if the Krogan experience it that way, we have this tendency to think, well, who am I to judge their emotional response and say, well, they're pissed about it, so I understand. Well, no. If they're wrong to be pissed about it, then they're wrong to be pissed about it. But they're not. They're absolutely right to be pissed about it. And the Solarians were absolutely wrong to do it. And, by the way, it wasn't exactly the Solarians who did it. story for another time. Spoilery. Story for another time. The Solarians contributed, but it wasn't exactly them who did it. Erica says, Dungeons and Dragons, they live forever. Dragons. They take a very long approach, which is why the Cult of the Dragon is made of humans who get things done right. Now, yeah, absolutely. This is good Forgotten Realms lore that I hadn't thought about, right? The Cult of the Dragon, there's a reason that they do things for dragons, because dragons don't do things for themselves, because why would they? They have eons to do it. Ego says, I heard that before, the Tale of the Immortals. Yeah, Tale of the Immortals. This is... I'm trying to think of what mythology this is, where this comes from. But yeah, it's something like that. Tolkien talks about it, right? Tolkien talks about death, right? The ability to die as the gift of men. Right? Because elves, by contrast, do not and cannot finally die. They are bound to this world for its duration. Men, humans, when men die, they leave. Right? They are no longer tied to, no longer part of this world. They go beyond it. Their spirits go beyond it. Presumably, no one quite knows how, not even the Valar, but presumably it's to be with Eru Ilúvatar, God. And the elves see that as a gift, rather than as a curse. I also want to put there's a really, really great dialogue that Tolkien wrote. I forget where this is published, but I can find it. A dialogue between a wise mortal human woman and an elf, and it's a really good philosophical dialogue about these topics. It's the Athrabeth something, because that's the name of the woman. I'll figure it out, and I'll put a link to it in the description. Anyone in the chat is familiar with this, let me know, and I will. I'll shout out the actual name of the dialogue because it's wonderful, wonderful. It's one of the best short things that Tolkien wrote. Maybe second only to the Ainur Lindale, the creation myth.
If you need this much soul searching to get over it, maybe the Genophage was wrong.
Had to be done. Bracknai Wars, Krogan rebellions, all pointed to Krogan aggression. So many simulations, effects of Krogan population increase, all pointed to war, extinction, genophage or genocide. Save galaxy from Krogan. Save Krogan from galaxy.
You could have cured the Genophage instead. Brought hope to the Krogan. They'd have rejoiced.
Assumes human reaction. Krogan stimulus response different. Harsh environment. Take chance to fight. Flee. Would have caused chaos in Tuchanka. Victor would have war economy. Bloodthirsty army. Galactic expansion, only logical outcome. More war. Genophage saved lives, war would have ended.
So you're willing to sterilize a species based on the evidence of a few simulations?
Yes, millions of data points, years of arguments, countless scenarios, all noted Krogan fragmentation as dangerous, no unified culture to support repopulation. Would have been war, Turians and humans destroying Krogan utterly. Genophage was better, saved lives.
This is Solarians playing God. This is always their problem. One, they unleashed the Rachni. Then, they unleashed the Rachni. They made first contact with the Turians. First they made first contact with the Krogan. Uplifted them to fight the Rachni. Krogan went crazy. Found the Turians. Uplifted the Turians to fight the Krogan. Then the Genophage. Then the Genophage modification. Then all sorts of absolute nonsense bullshit that is constantly going on in Solarian laboratories. They play God. They assume that they can control everything that they can see. And that they also assume that they ought to control everything that they see. They think way too big picture, especially for quick, short-lived people. It's bizarre. But again, it's that human activity thing, but dialed up extremely, because even their lifespans are shortened. It's half what a human is now, or less. So this rapid activity that we see, stereotypically of humans, as opposed to sort of immortal, longer-lived races, right? It's even more so for Solarians. So they have some of our worst faults, but worse. We think of them as the smart aliens, but man, they are hubristic to no end. Oh, yeah, Eric, a good point. Once again, seeing the Krogan as a group rather than how individuals would have reacted. Very true. Somebody like Rex could have come along. That was never in the data. Rex was never in the data. Grunt was never in the data. Or not Bakara, who we'll meet in the next game. Not in the data. But damn, does she have an impact. Same with a lot of the Krogan in Andromeda. They're doing well. Shockingly well. Yeah, no, it's... Yeah.
Look at the dead woman, Morden. It doesn't look like you saved her.
No, it doesn't. Worked with available data. Only option. No other possible. Doesn't matter.
I think it matters. I think he thinks it matters ultimately, too. He's having to try and convince himself that this was the right thing. Even though I think it's getting to the point where he knows it wasn't the right thing. What's this? And then that dude. Why are these uneven? It's weird. Anyway, this is our guy. This is our dude. This is our not Darg. This is the proprietor of the Badass Creator of Badassitude. Yes, a name that I stole from Borderlands for our tabletop game.
You killed the Bloodpack guards.
Not Bloodpack, not member of Clan Werlock. Wrong clan markings.
I'm a nerd, not scout. Werlock guards got me. Brought me here.
The chief scout told us to watch for you. We've taken out the guards. Get back to Erdnot.
I can't. The Werlock did things to me. Drugs. Injections. Said I was sacrificing for the good of all Krogan. Experiments to cure the genophage. Everything's blurry. Hard to think. Have to stay.
Morden, can you get him back on his feet? Stims, maybe? Something to bolster his immune system?
You don't understand. I'm not too sick to leave. I have to stay. They're curing the genophage. They're gonna make it all better. They have to keep doing the tests.
Caution, Shepard. Patient unstable, susceptible, brainwashed.
I think I did a decent job of portraying him voice-wise.
Why do you want them to
As
keep
an NPC,
doing
I mean.
tests?
This is my fault. I got caught. Wasn't strong enough. Not good enough. This is the best I can do. This is all I can do. I'm not big enough to have a real shot with the females. I'll never have kids of my own. But if I help undo the genophage, then I mattered.
Millions of children will be born. Werlock children. They're gonna destroy the other clans.
But... No. No, they said I was helping Erdnot.
If you want to help Erdnot, you need to get back there. But it would take a real badass to make it back to camp while injured.
I can do it.
You? I said a badass, not some scout whining like a Quarian with a tummy ache.
I can do it. I'm up. And I'm going to the female camp.
Damn right you are.
Okay.
Get back there and show them what you're worth. Go! Go!
Nicely done. Fortunately, subject is unlikely to be contagious.
Love this guy. But yeah, I had him as an NPC who wound up opening a the party happened across the Thresher Maw.
Shepard, I'm detecting crates ahead that are holding unstable materials. A misplaced shot could cause a significant explosion.
Or a well-placed shot. Explosives useful. Burn through Krogan armor.
Yeah, I like where you're thinking. But yeah, I eventually had him retire to build a big fighting dome on this planet with a Thresher Maw as basically an arena stadium, like a fight arena, which was a lot of fun. It was a good time. We wound up fighting a pirate queen.
They've seen us.
In the arena with a Thresher Maw,
Excellent targeting.
which was great.
Should do the trick.
Take it! Shotgun, nice. Feel the blood rain.
Darn it. There we go. All right. Ammo.
Next.
Nothing can hurt me.
All right, let me see. Erica says, and this is about the crater, the big arena fight. Figuring out what to do with Casey, that was the Pirate Queen, was admittedly one of those things where we, the players, were thinking we couldn't do anything against her, and her massive ship, and not trusting the DM. Yeah, don't do that. Trust your DM, guys, if you're playing tabletops. We also thought challenging her to one-on-one combat was going to turn against us somehow. We also spent a ton of credits hiring her ex-boyfriend to fight with us. Yes, that was a good. I think that was a good decision. I think he was helpful. Of course, that meant I had yet another NPC to keep track of, so that was a pain in that fight, but whatever, we made it work. Oh, excuse me. Her ex-boyfriend was another NPC I had introduced as someone that the players had hired at some point before then. Or was working with before then.
The thing to help. Rocket closing in.
Too late. Now you're dead.
Ooh.
Too late. Now you're dead.
Ooh.
Attack! Getting up close. Enemy charging. I am Krogan!
Oh, there's gold. Okay.
Hostile charging. Post combat problematic.
There we go. I love this assault rifle. Hey, wait a minute. Erica says I was really wanting to not have him fight with us. We somehow slapped 50,000 credits down to pay him. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. That's basically true. I basically had him demand an exorbitant amount of money, like more than I thought you guys could get a hold of, but you guys ran through side quests. You sold a bunch of... I think you basically mortgaged your ship. On the right. I don't want to go the right way. I want to go the wrong way first. I think you guys basically mortgaged your ship. No, you sold off a ship that you got from a different group of pirates. That's what you did. That's what happened. Remembering. And yeah, that was crazy. I did not expect you guys to be able to put together that kind of money. He, the character, or boyfriend, right, ex-boyfriend, yeah, he did not expect you guys to be able to put together that amount of money because, he didn't want to kill her. He kind of... I don't think it would be fair to say he still had feelings for her, but he certainly still... He didn't want things to end on that note, but they did. Because you know how player characters are. But yeah, no, it was very. That was a hell of a fight. That was really good. It was not the actual like end boss, but it was a. Oops. Okay, I guess I can start over.
I'll take it.
I think I'm trying to remember who got the final shot on her. I think it was a combo detonation. I remember that. I think it was framed because I think it was a lance, and I think it hit the Thresher Maw and exploded in her. She exploded in its mouth.
Alive, unharmed.
I think.
No signs of restraint, no evidence of torture. Don't understand.
For such a smart man, Professor, you always had trouble seeing evidence that disagreed with your preconceptions. How long will it take you to admit that I'm here because I wish to be here?
He wasn't kidnapped. He came here voluntarily to cure the genophage.
Impossible. Whole team agreed. Project necessary.
How was I supposed to disagree with the great Dr. Solus? I was your student. I looked up to you.
Experiments performed here. Live subjects, prisoners, torture and executions. You're doing?
We've already got the blood of millions on our hands, Doctor. If it takes a bit more to put things right, I can deal with that.
You honestly think the experiments you did here are justified?
We committed cultural genocide. Nothing I do will ever be justified. The
True.
experiments are monstrous because I was taught to be a monster.
Morden, did you ever perform experiments like this?
No. Never taught you this, Malin.
So your hands are clean. What does it matter if the ground is stained with the blood of millions? You taught me that the end justified the means. I will undo what we did, Professor. The only way I know how.
Why work with Clan Weyrloc? And how did you access the genophage data?
The data was easy to obtain. We all still had clearance. We were heroes. All I had to do was ask. As for the Weyrloc, they were the only clan with both the resources and the commitment.
Erdnot has a larger camp than Weyrloc. Why not use them?
Erdnot Rex is too soft. He wasn't willing to do the experiments I needed. It's Erdnot's loss and Weyrloc's gain. Their clan will be the first to recover from the crime we committed.
So right thing, wrong way. Once again, this seems to be a problem with this crew, this Solarian group at least, of either doing the right things for the wrong reason or the wrong things for the right reason. You can't get the right thing for the right reason, can you? Yes, can't do it.
What happens if the genophage is cured and the Krogan expand again? That will be on your head.
We justified this atrocity by saying the Krogan would cause havoc and war if their population recovered. But look at the galaxy. Batarian attacks in the Traverse, Geth attacks in the Citadel. Is this a more peaceful universe? The assault on your Eden Prime might never have happened if we had let the Krogan recover. We'll never know.
Fair.
Malin clearly doesn't need rescuing. What do you want to do?
Have to end this.
You can't face the truth, can you? Can't admit that your brilliant mind led you to commit an atrocity!
Unacceptable experiments. Unacceptable goals. Won't change. No choice. Have to kill you.
Wait. You don't need to do this, Morden. You're not a murderer.
No. Not a murderer. Thank you, Shepard. Finished, Malin. Get out. No Weyrloc left. Project over.
What if he talks to more Krogan? Tells the public about the modified genophage project?
Special Tasks Group good at covering tracks. No proof. Weyrloc willingness to work with Solarian, unusual. Other Krogan will kill him.
You heard the Professor. Get out before he changes his mind.
Where am I supposed to go, Professor?
Don't care. Try Omega. Can always use another clinic.
The Krogan didn't deserve what we did to them, Professor. The genophage needs to end.
Not like this. Apologies, Commander. Misunderstood mission parameters. No kidnapping. My mistake. Thank you.
Don't worry about me, Morden. How are you doing?
Should have killed him. Wanted to. Easier than listening. Easier for him, too. Experiments indicate how far he's fallen. Expected it from Krogan. Not one of mine.
Maybe you'll remember that the next time you're discussing the ethics of the genophage.
Yes. So many variables. Stress response.
Shepard.
Impossible to truly predict. Something to think about. Malin's research, only loose end. Could destroy it. Closure, security. Still valuable, though.
Neat question. This actually brings up a serious question in bioethics. What do we do with beneficial research that was achieved by unjust means? For example, a go-to example of this is hypothermia. We know very, very well today how to treat hypothermia. The trouble is, the reason we know how to do so is because of horrific Nazi concentration camp experiments, where they basically just froze people to death and watched what happened. Recorded the results and tried different treatments and made it work. Right? Basically, the kinds of sick, twisted experiments that they were doing, that like we saw in this game, right, as well with Jack and the other kids there at that facility, Telton facility, and things like that, right? What do you do with that research? What do you do with that information? Is it morally illicit to use information that was illicitly acquired? Typically, the consensus answer, I think, is yes. Is the information itself is morally neutral, even if it was obtained illicitly, unjustly, horrifically. The information can then be used to help people. It's an example of bringing good out of evil, which is at least something. Certainly better than not doing so. It's certainly better than the research being wasted.
If you think it could be useful, why not hang on to it?
Worked for years to create modified genophage. Should destroy this. Malin's work could cure genophage. Don't know. Effects on Krogan. Effects on Galaxy. Too many variables. Too many variables.
You regret what the Krogan have become. You see the horror of what they did here. But you see the loss, too.
Wasted potential.
They don't deserve this, Morden. Save the data.
Point taken, Shepard. Capturing data. Wiping local copy. Still years away from cure. But closer than starting from scratch. Done. Ready to go. Ready to be off Tuchanka. Anywhere else. Maybe somewhere sunny.
Let's get out of here.
Yeah. Man. Rough. Yeah, and like I said, this brings up these questions of it's worth asking if it had been a sterility plague, not a stillbirth, an actual mass murder. Even if it had been sterility, by most of our contemporary ethical standards, that would still count as a kind of genocide, because it is the systematic elimination of a population.
Go to the clan leader. Not Grunt. You go where you want.
That seems contradictory, but okay.
Too. Those little bastards think they're so
Clan Erdnot has increased its strength after the destruction of Clan Werlock.
That's good.
Based on population profiles, Clan Erdnot has adopted surviving members of Clan Werlock, mostly women and children.
Ah, intelligent move. Surprising from Krogan. Glad to see it.
In addition, killing the Thresher Maw has produced several breeding requests for Grunt, and one for Shepard.
Ha!
You around when the female camps and the children overlap?
Jesus. Well, you know,
No.
if you're gonna
Stop dealing with a Varren attack.
definitely gotta make fun of your mom for your friends hitting on her, right?
One more win in the pits.
Oh, jeez.
Non-retired.
Don't touch. If you're gonna stand there, make yourself useful. I can't do anything until I build a replacement manifold for this damn Tonka.
I found a combustion manifold out in the field. Is this what you need?
Remember we found that? It was a while ago.
That'll work. Faster than building one from scratch, at least. You just saved me 3 days' work, human. You've earned my time if you want it.
How do you feel about what Rex is trying to do?
The old man's crazy if you ask me. Which you just did. But that stuff fixes itself. If it doesn't work, Rex gets torn to shreds and we find out who's got the next best plan.
What's that you're working on there?
I'm tuning up these machines for battle. It's a wonder this Tomka here made it back to camp. It could be worse. A couple more hits on the broadside, and this thing would have crumbled.
Krogan's placed so much importance on martial strength. How'd you become a mechanic?
How do you think those fools make it to the field to kill each other? Who do you think keeps the weapons working? Without me, there's no battle, just slaughter. I am the military might of Clan Urdnot.
I love how the mechanic is a New Yorker Krogan. It's
Let me
great.
get out of your way.
Don't do me any favors.
Love the New Yorker Krogans. It's just great.
Place your bet on the pits, human. We won't regret it.
Nah. I want to talk to Rex, and then we'll skedaddle. Probably we can do Samara's loyalty mission. I think that's the only one left, if I'm not mistaken.
You just can't help making trouble. No one has killed a Maw since my turn in the right. Next you'll tell me he's a Quint and crap's dark matter. Guess that's what it takes to replace me.
Is that a Futurama reference?
You are Urdnot Grunt. Welcome.
I need to go. We'll go over this another time.
Watch yourself, Shepard. Tuchanka isn't safe and homey like Theros and Ilos.
Huh.
Shepard, what can I do for you, my friend?
No.
I need to go.
Thought he might
We'll
ask
go over
about
this another
Morden,
time.
but
Hunt well, Shepard.
it's not. All right, that's it. Let's get out of here. Let's head back to the ship. It's this way. Head back to the ship, and I think the only mission we have left, the only loyalty mission we have left, we have some side quests and things. Only mission we have left is Samara. We can go and do that.
I wonder what those Turians and Solarians look like.
Then, honestly, we are relatively close to the end of the game, or at least the end of the main game. There is still quite a lot of DLC content that we're still gonna have to do even after the end proper of the game. We have Overlord, we have Lair of the Shadowbroker, and we have Arrival. All three of those are going to come after the act of the game, so we still have a good amount of content in Spec 2. All three of those are actually quite long. Might even be a full game session each, assuming we add in some side content as well, just depending on runtime, that kind of thing. Might even be more than one, just depending on how much I talk throughout. Let's see.
Commander, you've received a new message at your private terminal.
Awesome. Let's go feed the fish. Yeah, fish. Here you go. Good fish. All right, let's see. The Grunts Commander. Shaman Urdnot. Damn it, I hate these things. But you need to hear this. You're part of Grunt's Krant, and you're his leader. So keep him alive. Here, I have to stay polite, play the role. But our people are dying. Krogan have always valued survival over tradition. If we're going to survive as a people, we need your vat-grown grunt. Okir was a madman, but he was a madman with a plan, and that's more than most have on this ball of rock. So bring him back from your damned mission. My people need him. Get killed, I'll piss on your graves. Shaman Urdnot. I appreciate that. Oh, guess who just woke up? Was it Michael? I was gonna guess it's Michael. Perfect timing. Just in time to not sleep. Let's go down to talk to the rest of our crew about stuff. Haven't we caught up with? I think Thane has more to say, so talk to him. Then, quick before we go on Samara's mission.
Do you need something?
Have a few minutes to talk?
If you wish.
The last time we talked, you started speaking about a past event as if you were watching it.
Drell have perfect memories. We can relive any moment in our lives with perfect clarity. It's difficult to control at times. Some of us disappear into, let's call it solipsism.
What do you mean, solipsism?
When a memory feels as real as life, it's as valid as life. Thinking about a moment brings back the smell of cut grass, the warmth of another's hand on yours, the taste of another's tongue in your mouth. Wouldn't you rather lose yourself in such a memory than spend the night alone, staring at walls of metal and plastic?
Isn't there a risk that you could lose yourself in bad memories as well?
Of course. Remembering the times I've taken bullets is unpleasant. But I can look at my knee and see it's not shattered. The memories that are hard to escape are those of despair.
Isn't that a rather personal memory to talk about?
Forgive me. Lately I've spent a great deal of time reviewing my life. I didn't mean to make you uncomfortable.
You can remember everything that happened in your life?
Nearly. I expect if we remembered the birth trauma, we'd never recover from it.
You can relive every assassination you've ever made?
In perfect detail. Every mistake I made. Every target's last breath.
Really cool.
That
All I
sounds
could really say.
difficult. At any moment, you could relive the guilt.
Guilt? No. I've never felt any particular guilt about my contracts. My employers killed them. My body was only the tool they used. If you kill a man with your gun, do you hold the gun responsible?
My gun can't decide right from wrong. You clearly do.
My soul does. But my body is merely flesh. Flesh whose reflexes were honed to kill. Drell minds are different from humans. We see our body as a vessel, and accept that it is not always under our control.
Yeah, so again, this comes back to it's kind of a Gnostic view. And the fascinating thing about this is whether it's true or not. This could be true. They could be embodied spirits rather than hylomorphic wholes. And I've talked about this before. And it makes a significant difference whether they're right about this or wrong about this. And I don't think philosophically we can know that they necessarily are wrong about this. It could be a disagreement in how we see our, body and soul. Excuse me. Or it could just be a difference in the kind of creatures we are. Nothing ruling that out. And if that is the case, neat. But if they're wrong, then yeah, I think that's irresponsible.
So you don't assume any responsibility for the things you do?
Not every action performed by my body is a result of conscious choices. I take responsibility for those that are. Humans often believe in a soul distinct from the body. A spirit responsible for moral reasoning that lives on after the body's death. Our belief is just a bit more literal.
The last time we talked, you remembered one of your assassinations. Something about sunset-colored eyes?
That time. Laser dot trembles on the skull. Spice on the spring wind. Sunset eyes, defiant in the scope. A bystander noticed my spotting laser and threw herself between me and the target. She couldn't see me, but she stared me down.
It was odd that you just blurted that out. Just another vivid Drell memory?
No. She was a vivid person.
Did you take the shot?
Not that day.
I should get back to my duties.
Shepard, I appreciate these chats we have.
You've spent a lot of your life alone, Thane.
Work fulfilled me. Reading. I barely spoke to anyone outside my family. It seems there will be no one to mourn me when I die. You're the only friend I've made in 10 years.
This crew is pretty diverse. You must have something in common with some of them. Get out of this room and talk to them.
I shall consider it. I won't keep you.
I shall consider it. Yeah, so instead of, yes. You can't just commit to yes. He's got to think about it. Who haven't we talked to yet? We talked to Garrus, we talked to Amanda. Let's go down and talk to Grunt, then let's go over and talk to Morden, do some research, and then go on Samara's loyalty mission. Should take about a half an hour, which will be about perfect. It's not a very long one, but it is a conversation-heavy one, so we'll go on. It's fascinatingly about art. Yeah, actually, I tell you what, let's actually go and do that. Just go ahead and do that right now. And when we come back next week, we will begin with all of our talkie-talkie stuff. How about real quick, upgrades. Quick shotgun stuff. Heavy weapon ammo, definitely. Broken Vitality, yep. But let's... Platinum. That'll do it. Cool.
How may I help you, Commander?
Is there anything I should know?
Nothing right now. Anything else, Commander?
That'll be all.
I'll be here
Okay.
if you need it.
Go to Omega. Help Samara. Call it a night. But as you can see, we still have plenty of side quests to do, plenty of galactic exploration. I'm going to do a good bit of it, then mark some locations for side quests eventually. So we can probably wind up doing an entire stream of side quests. Skip that. I know it's really cool. Skip it. Hopefully just one stream of side quests this time, instead of like for Mass Effect 1, when near the end we basically had 2 full streams dedicated to nothing but side quests. Hopefully we can get through most of them in the stream this time. But I have no guarantees, because there are a bunch of them. There's a bunch. Might wind up being. You look. Yeah, let's go with that. Morden and Samara? For Omega? Yeah. No, let's go with Garrus. Who is wanted and hated on Omega. Perfect. Actually, you know what? We haven't brought Kasumi to almost anything. Let's bring Kasumi and Samara. Let's do that. Kasumi doesn't get to come with us near enough. It's a thief. Yeah, let's go with tech powers and recharge. Oh god. A. Field. Full field. I want Reeve to be really good. It's awesome. So I'm gonna actually save my powers for Reeve is actually really, really good. Alright. Don't need any changes to my gear. Yeah, we're good.
Death count on Omega is too high for me to pinpoint an Ardat Yakshi's location. However, given the reputation of Ardat Yakshi among the Asari, Arya T'Loak may have tracked her movements.
Right.
Thank you.
Well, let's go talk to Arya.
Arya's expecting me. Ugh. Annoyed.
Oh, no. Okay, I was going to say, and we have the Omega DLC, but no, that's for 3. That's ME3, not 2.
Nothing to see here.
Alright. Fair enough.
What do you need?
An
Asari fugitive is hiding out here. She's an Ardat Yakshi. We need to find her. I knew it. Nothing leaves a body quite so empty as an Ardat Yakshi does. You haven't taken steps to kill her? Why would I? She hasn't tried to seduce me. Her last victim was a young girl. Pretty thing. Lived in the tenements near here. That's where I'd start looking.
Hey, let's do it.
Thanks for the help. Good luck finding her. Better luck catching her.
Okay, well, let's go do it. Easy enough.
You want to talk? Talk to Arya.
You can't fool me. Everyone wants some of this.
Oh, super drunk guy. Alright.
Come on, let me in.
Okay, it's over here.
Is that Shepard? Shepard's supposed to be
I'm gonna wait to talk to them until I have Jacob and Miranda, because they have a pass with those two apparently. So that'll be one of those side quests that we do probably next session. Next time we'll do that. Alright, here we go. Apartment.
Are you here about my daughter? My nephew died a week ago and no one seems to care. The medics said it was a brain hemorrhage, but that's not true. It was murder. Someone killed my nephew, my baby.
I think she was murdered too, and I'm looking for her killer.
Oh, thank you. It's so hard when no one believes you. I'm all alone now. Are you one of Arya's people?
I'm here to help. Does it matter who sent me?
No one else on this hellhole station gives a damn that my nephew is dead. If you can do something about it, I'll help you however I can.
What kind of a girl was your daughter?
My nephew had a fire inside her. She was shy, but she was creative and driven and the best girl a mother could hope for.
She was creative? How so?
She was a sculptor. Several galleries were interested in her. Said her work was fresh.
Did your daughter have a lot of friends?
Not a lot, no. She was shy. Spent most of her time off making her sculptures, not hanging out with friends. Something did change in the last few weeks, though. She started talking about an Asari. Morinth.
I see.
I didn't like her. She kept dragging Neff out to clubs, and I'm pretty sure she gave my daughter drugs.
What kind of a person was this Morinth?
I never met her. But Neff talked about her like she was a queen. You'd swear there was no one else alive when she talked about Morinth.
That sounds familiar.
Samara, does Morinth control her victims with drugs?
She controls them through sheer will. The drugs are just a lifestyle. She loves the club, loves the base. She's a hedonist.
So this Morinth did hurt my daughter? Is she the one that...
I will bring justice to the one that did this.
We swear to you, Neff will rest easy soon.
I hope so. I hope so. My baby.
Did Neff hang out anywhere in particular?
She was always quiet working here at home. Then, a few weeks ago, she started going out all the time to the VIP area of that club down the street. I think you need a password or something to get in there. The change was so sudden. She just seemed tired and distracted when she wasn't around Morinth.
Do you mind if I examine Neff's room?
I didn't want to disturb anything. Her clothes, her art, her sculptures, everything is the way she left it. The way it will always be. My baby is gone. Thank you. I'm sorry. I just miss her so much.
It's okay. We've all suffered loss.
I know what it means to lose a daughter. I will avenge her.
Thank you. Please,
That carries
if
some
it helps you find
to
the
it.
killer, look through her things.
We will be respectful.
That
I'll
really
examine
carries.
her things.
Yeah, this can't be easy for Samara.
A man from some gallery offered me 4 years' salary for it, but I'd never part with it.
Don't look at it, Kasumi. Know how you like art.
Neff, I'm sending you this hologram by the Elcor artist Forta. His work is sublime, but don't stare at it too long or you may go mad. I don't want anything bad to happen to you, love. I can't wait to hear what you think of Forta.
Okay. That's... Alright.
Read the oldest entry.
Hey, Diary. Cycle 34, Orbit 671. There's a lot to talk about. I dropped Jarut's name, and they let me into the VIP room at Afterlife. I'm sure everyone was staring at me. Then the most beautiful Asari starts dancing near me. She moves like water, form and volume, but shifting, changing. I'm in a trance. Then I'm dancing with her. Later, we went for skewers, and I'm supposed to see her again tomorrow.
Read the middle entry.
Cycle 36, Orbit 671. Am I a freak? Morinth is a girl like me, and she's definitely not human. Just when we dance and the helix is flowing through me, the way she looks at me with a hunger, a longing, no one's ever looked at me like that. We kissed tonight.
Read the newest entry.
Cycle 42, Orbit 67. She's going to take me to her apartment tonight. Whatever happens, I want to be with her forever. She can sell my pieces. We can live somewhere glamorous, like the women in Vanya that Vid Morinth likes. How did this happen to me? I'm just dumb trash from Omega.
Yeah. A predator, if I have ever seen one.
Close the holo journal.
This is Morin's work. She's attracted to artists and creators. Someone with a spark, slightly isolated from their peers. She impresses with sophistication and sex appeal. Then she strikes. The hunt interests her as much as the conquest.
Anyone who successfully hunted sapient beings for 400 years warrants caution.
Morinth speaks to you on many levels. Her body tells yours that she'll bring unimaginable ecstasy. Her scent evokes emotions long hidden. Her eyes promise you things you were always scared to ask of another. Her voice whispers to you after she is done speaking.
She sounds more like a highly evolved killer than a genetic defective.
The condition has been present since my people huddled around fires at night. Perhaps it is symbiotic rather than a defect. Storming her den would be a mistake. She will have 100 escape routes planned. She will go to ground and disappear for 50 years or more. This is the closest I've ever been.
So we have to lure her out.
Exactly. Shepard, you read my mind. Afterlife's VIP section seems her preferred hunting ground. You must go there alone and unarmed.
She'll come after me.
Oh, great.
You can draw Morinth out. She'll certainly flee if she catches sight of me, but she won't be able to resist you. You are an artist on the battlefield. You have the vital spark that attracts her. Your power will draw her in.
I'm walking into this place with no gun and no backup?
I will be in the shadows watching, Shepard. You will never be alone. This I swear. But you cannot barge in with guns and allies. Morinth is far too cagey. She'd simply disappear. This is a subtle, delicate act. Trust me.
Let's do it.
Time's wasting. Let's get over there.
I agree. We can talk more once we're there.
Let's go hunt a predator, so to speak. And or seduce a seductress. How is that too? Whatever the case might be. Yeah, I know. I'm a blight. We all get it. Alright, let's check out anything in here I need to get. Hack module. I didn't buy this before. Not the credits.
This looks interesting.
Cool. That would have been helpful. Leading up to now. Need that. Why is it a hand? God, guys. Bonky with the horny stick.
People come to places such as this seeking a better life. And when they get here, they find this. Vibrant people forced into destitution on a world filled with criminals. They deserve protection. If I survive your mission, I may return here.
With Katanos relationships, you never have to compromise your vision of what your love should be.
Okay, so I missed like the first half of that. I am to assume that this is like whores, but long-term whores. Is this like a sex slave trading, or is it a dating website? I'm honestly unsure which we're talking about here.
This might be useful.
Either way, it's probably disturbing. Erica says Samara versus Arya. Let's go! Oh man, that'd be awesome. Man, that would be a good fight. Be a really good fight.
What do you want?
I'd like to join the party.
This really isn't your kind of place. Afterlife's main floor has lots of drinks and great music. What do you want?
Oh, right. I forgot. Password.
Someone told me the rest of Afterlife's nothing compared to this place.
Sounds like a smart person. Who was it?
Jarut.
Go on in. Word to the wise. Start a fight, we'll hurt you. Someone attacks you, it's okay to defend yourself.
Alright. Good rule. Rule.
You must go in alone. Morinth will be watching. Like any predator, she is cautious. You must pique her interest enough that she will approach you. When you are face to face, subtly encourage her to invite you to her apartment. I'll follow discreetly, and when you are alone, I'll spring the trap. Know this, until I get there, you are in great peril. She will be planning to inflict horrors on you. If you are not careful, you will want her to.
So funny thing. You know what? Funny thing. I'll save the funny thing for the end. Save the funny thing for the end. But let's go over our strategy.
How can I spark her interest when I'm not even talking to her?
Courage or suicidal bravery could attract her. Hurt someone in defense and she will be excited. But Pick a fight and she'll be bored. Show skill at working smoothly through a nightclub crowd. She will be intrigued. She'll want you the moment she sees you. The rest is just a matter of overpowering her caution.
How do I convince her to take me home?
She admires strength, directness, and vigor. Modesty, chivalry, or meekness frustrate and bore her. Violence excites her. You've killed Shepard. She'll like that.
Love that Shepard is at least portraying herself as just really bad at the dating scene. I mean, at least with respect to Asari, so okay, fair enough.
Getting her alone, then falling under her sway. That'll require careful timing.
I will be near, and I will come for you, Shepard. Trust me, as I trust and honor you.
Okay. Hey. What other things have we learned about Morinth that can help us here?
According to Neff's journal, Morinth likes dancing while on a drug called Halex. Neff's journal mentioned a vid called Vayenya. It seemed to have something to do with glamorous women. Morinth sent Neff a note saying she likes the Elcor artist Forta. Well, Shepard, that's everything we know.
Let's get started.
Shepard, we only get one chance at this. Any mistake and Morinth will disappear. If you're the least bit unsure, come talk to me. I will wait here. And Shepard, thank you. I do not share this burden easily, and you are the only soul I can imagine sharing it with.
Nice. Alright.
Hey, do you know where to get tickets for Expel 10? I heard this amazing Asari say they were her favorite band. I want
Useful information.
Whatever she wants. I gotta find tickets. Expel 10 is playing tomorrow.
What kind of music do they play?
They're a sensory band. Like, they crawl into you and make you feel things. And this Asari digs them like you wouldn't believe. I could score way out of my league, you know? You gotta help me.
She sounds amazing. Is she here?
She was here a couple of days ago talking about the band. She's here a lot. When she comes back, I'm gonna have tickets.
I don't have any tickets.
If you score some, I got some creds for you.
Yeah, okay, I'll keep that in mind after we kill her. I'm just gonna punch a dude. Be fun, but no.
I hate this place and everyone in it. Every night I hate it all over again. I don't talk to people.
Okay, that's normal. That's exactly what I would expect in a club.
This is where you want to be?
Hi. I need help right now, and I don't know who to ask. You're human, and you don't look high, so you're it. Can you help me out?
Slow down and tell me what the problem is.
Right. Slow down. Sorry, I just don't know what to do. My friend Moiral is doing a piece on Omega Games. She's hanging with Florid. He's the worst of the worst.
What is she doing?
A vid piece. She's an investigative reporter, you know? She's trying to profile gang leaders.
Your friend could get hurt.
Yeah, and she's going to. See, Florid's onto her. His gang is on the way here, and they're gonna make a mess of her.
Oh.
I have to get a message to her, and fast.
You seem to have a lot of information.
I'm her tech. I've been monitoring the gang's comm. The last transmission said Florid's going to splatter her. Man, I'm a tech junkie. I don't know how to handle this.
What do you want me to do?
She and I have a code. If you go over and say 2 words to Florid, my friend will get the message and get out of there. The 2 words are terminal and eternity. In that order. Please tell me you can do that. She's going to die.
I can do that.
Thank you. Thank you. Remember, terminal and eternity. In that order, just work them into a sentence.
Okay, let's go do it.
I love this place. I love everyone here. I love you.
Someone's drunk.
Something I can do for you, lady?
Is there a public extranet terminal around here?
In a club? You don't have an Omni tool?
That is a pretty strange question.
I get by on public terminals. My Omni tool's been broken for an eternity.
That's a tough break. I'm done talking to you now.
Hey, Florid. I have to pee.
Hurry back, Moiral. I'm ready to head out.
Oh my god. Awkward. Okay. Hi.
Come on, baby. I can pay. I'm a good tipper, too.
I told you to stay away from me.
Alright, creeper.
Hey. Hey! I'll dance next to you. If you want to think we're dancing together, go ahead.
Oh my god.
I do want to think that.
Oh my god. No. No, Shepard, don't do the... Oh, Shepard's doing the Shepard dance. I hope that didn't drive Morinth away for good.
You're breathing on my drink!
No thanks.
What'll you have?
These are good people, but they look bored. Bored people don't spend much.
And you got an idea for how I could fix that?
A round of drinks shows that you appreciate their business. Your rep will improve and you'll make more money in the end.
Maybe worth a try once. You better be right. Listen up, everyone! We love having you here, so a round of drinks on the house!
My name is Morin. I've been watching you. You're the most interesting person in this place. I've got a booth over here in the shadows. Why don't you come sit with me?
Could she be more
Some nights
creepy?
I come here and there's no one interesting to talk to. Some nights, there's just one person. Tonight it's you. Why is that?
You and I want the same things.
Do we?
Do you know anything about art?
It speaks to the darkest places in me. What about you?
Do you know the artist Forta?
I didn't think anyone around here knew him.
Hey,
He's
there we go.
sublime. Art comes in many varieties. I've seen vids that were more powerful than a sculpture sitting in a gallery.
Do you know Vaenya?
My favorite. The two actresses on it are so glamorous.
I'll have to watch it.
Maybe we could do that together.
Music, because we know a little bit about music. So let's go with that. Let's go with that.
What do you think of the music here?
Dark rhythms, violent pulses. It stirs something primitive in me. What about you?
I'm curious about a band called Expel 10.
They get in my head and tear it to pieces. They're in concert soon. Maybe we should go together. You can lose yourself in the music here. There are ways to enhance that. You know?
Man, you know, I should have waited until next week to do this, because next week in my class on Monday, we're going to be talking about Epicureanism, which is essentially a kind of enlightened hedonism, semi-enlightened hedonism, that I don't take very seriously, and I'm surprised we're taking very seriously, but hey, what are you going to do? In any case, though, yeah, I should have really, should have gotten into the flow of things with that. Whatever. Let's talk about drugs, guys.
What do you think of Hallex?
It slithers through my soul. Seems like we share some interests.
I've traveled all over the galaxy.
It changes you, doesn't it?
Real travel means going to dangerous places.
Where you can see and do things most people can't imagine. Yes. When I travel, I find myself drawn to dark, dangerous places.
Violent places?
Violence is the surest expression of power.
If you're the strongest, you have the power.
That's certainly true. Among children.
Whoever wants it the most is willing to do anything for it, has the power.
Do you want to get out of here? My apartment is nearby and...
Weird that worked, but alright.
Have a Hallex if you want. But wouldn't you rather have all your senses be clear and sharp right now? I certainly do. I was into dueling for a while. I love the moment you see it in your opponent's eyes. He knows you're better, and he's going to die.
Ah, okay, so dueling to the death is for sport. That's normal.
Surely you don't want to leave. Why don't you come over here? I promise you'll like it.
Okay. She's really laying it on.
A gift from a suitor. The statue's got more personality than he did. Still, he impressed me enough that he finally got what he wanted. It didn't end the way he hoped. I love any game where your opponent can believe he is about to win, just before you kill him.
That it? Anything else creepy? Anything else disturbing to see in here? Alright, let's go talk to Self.
I love clubs. People, movement, heat. I can still hear the bass like the drums of a great hunt out for your blood. But here, it's muted, and you're safe. Is that what you want, Shepard?
People feel safest right before they die.
It's true. We're never safe. I've never understood the fascination with safety. Some of us choose differently. Independence over submission. I think we share that, you and I.
We've both killed many times. But that's where the similarities end.
Why do you say that I've killed? What do you know? Let's stop playing games. Look into my eyes and tell me you want me. Tell me you'd kill for me. Anything I want.
Think. Yes. This is another one where you need the Paragon points, basically your force of will, to get through the let's just say the mind control or the direct neurological interface. So
don't count on it.
But you, who are you? Oh no, I see what's going on. The bitch herself found a little helper. Marinth! Mother. Do not call me that. I can't choose to stop being your daughter, Mother. You made your choice long ago. What choice? My only crime was being born with the gifts you gave me. Enough, Marinth! I am the genetic destiny of the Asari, but they are not ready to reveal this. So I must die. You are a disease to be purged. Nothing more. I'm as strong as she
Jesus.
is. Let me join you. I am already sworn to help you, Shepard. Let us finish this.
So yeah, you can choose. This is one of the weirdest choices of this game. Worth noting, if you do choose to save Morinth and kill Samara, you can then choose to romance Morinth, which gives a non-standard game over of death by Snoo Snoo. Let's not do that, though, because she is, in fact, a mass murderer.
End of the line, Morinth.
And they call me a monster. Find peace in the embrace of the goddess.
Jesus.
I am ready to leave this place and get on with my life. Are you ready to go as well?
Do you want to talk about what happened?
Shepard, what do you think I will say? What can I say? I just killed the bravest and smartest of my daughters. There are no words. I will try another time. For now, show mercy on a broken old warrior and let us leave.
Let's go.
Jesus. Wow. All right. Yeah. That's a hell of a thing. It's good. All right. So, leave, as I said, that is about all we have time for. So like I said, I think we will pick this up next time with a bunch of side quests next week. And we will talk to everybody we haven't talked to yet. So we'll probably start going back to the ship, talking to everybody, come back here, pick up some side quests, do a bunch of side quests, and get some character stuff done, all that. So if you have anything that you would want to talk about next week, side quests have a lot less philosophical content, so if you have topics that you want to discuss, anything worth talking about, anything you're interested in, feel free to bring it up. Feel free to have it ready to ask and ready to talk about. Otherwise, I will certainly see you then. Hopefully, I will also see you before then. Thursday night for our Red Dead Redemption 2 stream, where things are, as in this case, winding down. There's only so much left to do before the end. At least of the main game, there is, just like this one, quite the epilogue to Red Dead Redemption 2. So we were going to be doing that as well afterwards. So we still have a few weeks to go on Red Dead. After that, like I said, I think I'm going to be picking up with the Dragon Age series, starting with Dragon Age Origins once we are done with that. So that is going to be the next series that we're going to tackle because it has a lot of really cool topics to talk about. Issues of religion, issues of self-sacrifice, issues of war, just war, betrayal, rulership, oppression, discrimination, all kinds of really interesting topics that'll be great to talk about on the stream. So hopefully you'll stick around for that in the future, and hopefully I will see all of you again with Mass Effect next week. And before that, hopefully I will see all of you Thursday night for some Red Dead Redemption 2. So with that, I will say night. And thanks for stopping by. I'll see you next time.